Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. People from all over, karibuni sana kwa hii show. Welcome to this great show that normally happens every night. Napotimu mida ya saa 4 tunakuwa na show moja kali. Karibu sana kwa hii show. I'm your host Jix, the moderator, and this is Afric TV. Karibu sana kwa hii show. Karibu sana wewe ambao unatazama. Karibu sana. Asante sana kwa kuchagua Afric kwa your number one station ya kutazama vipindi murwa, vipindi kali, vitu moto, debate interesting ambazo happen hapa kwa Afric. Asante sana kwa kunijoin. Thank you for choosing Afric TV. I'm your host Jex, the moderator. Kaa nami, wacha tuwe na show moja fiti. Allow me to invite you na kukaribisha sana. Jiunge nasi, wacha tujinice hadi mwisho wa hii show. Hii show ni kali, show ya leo ni fiti. I wish to let you know that I'll be sharing a lot in this show. I wish you sit down and relax and enjoy the show and the conversations that are about to happen. Videos kibao, as we even explain why we have that topic, why we have that interesting thumbnail. Karibu sana kwa show. Nijuze unatazama ukiwa wapi. Watu wa USA, karibuni kwa show. Watu wa Jamaica, karibuni kwa show. Wakenya ambao wako UK, karibuni sana kwa show. Wasee ambao wako maeneo ya Kayole, Isili, Dandora, Donholm, Mombasani, Kisauni, popote unaponitazama, karibuni sana kwa hii show yenyu ambayo imeanza sasa. Nijuze mnatazama mkiwa wapi. Nijuze tu hapo kwa comment section, unanicheki ukiwa maeneo gani. Naona wengi washaanza kulike hii video. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for appreciating the work that we do. Asanteni sana. Hapo kwa comment section, nijuze unantazama ukiwa wapi. Where is this finding you right now? Uko maeneo gani? Watu wa Dallas, Texas, karibuni. Watu wa Kansas, karibuni. Watu wote ambao wananitazama. Welcome to this wonderful broadcast. This is your host, Jex, the moderator, and this is Afric 24. We have a great show lined up for you. Of course, this is the leading show, the leading channel in the country at the moment. So subscribe to us and as well enjoy the grand prizes that are coming your way simply by subscribing to Afric 24. Subscribe to Afric 24 and win grand prizes. Jiunge nami ninapokukaribisha. Nijuze unanitazama ukiwa wapi. Nijuze unanitazama ukiwa wapi. We have a lot coming your way. One, I want to celebrate all the class 8 ambao wamepokea results za mtihani. Ninawapongeza, kongole kwenyu. Waliopita, shukran. Mungu awajalie mwingie high schools nzuri. Wale ambao maybe mambo yalienda visivyo, tunawaombea Mungu pia. There's always life ahead, It's always not that serious, To all the class 8 leavers, those who received their results, we wish you the very best. Here at Afric, we congratulate all those who did the exams, those who passed, those who didn't. You all succeeded. You all did the final KCPE in Kenya, the very final one. We celebrate you. Asante sana to the top candidate, heko kwako, and to the many, congratulations, including our very own Nuro Kanga. Rumors go inje. The guy scored 401. It's yet to be proven, but anyway. Kama amepata hivyo ni sawa. Kongole, asante sana Nuru Kanga kwa kuwakilisha wana Jakaranda vilivyo. Umefanya ile kitu. Kulikuwa na shangwe na hoi pale Jakaranda. Watu wamefurahia, watu wamejinice. Asanteni sana. Namuona Alphonse Nzioka ako hapo. Asante sana. Namuona Goodia ameshajaja. Let me know where you're watching me from. Like hii video, subscribe to Afric 24, and zaidi ya yote jiunge pamoja nami live kwa show. Sinisome wawili watatu ambao wamelike hii video. Even before I introduce any clip or anything, naona Alphonse amefanya ile kitu. Asante sana. Ninamuona nani hapa? Ninamuona Nzioka amefanya ile kitu. Asante sana. Nani mwingine hapa? Nani mwingine? Namuona Gladys amefanya ile kitu. Namuona nani hapa? Namuona Mkenya amefanya ile kitu. Judith amelike hii video. Thank you so very much. Sharon Akoth, asante kwa kulike hii video. Clement, asante kwa kulike hii video. Clement Angwenyi, I see you my brother. Thank you for liking the video. Gladys Wakish, amelike hii video. Asante kwa kulike hii video, asante kwa kusubscribe to Africa channel. Karibuni wadau. Namuona Steven ananiambia kwa maeneo ya Kisii, karibu sana Kisii Republic. Mko vipi? Steven Osiku, asante sana kwa kujiunga nami. Ni juzi unatazama ukiwa wapi? Let me know where you're watching me from. Let me know where you are watching me from. Hii show yako, show umekuwa ukiingoje. Inapotimu tu mida ya saa 4, unajiunga nasi, unaenjoy hii show, nasi tunakupa burudani kali. Namuona Red Prince amelike hii video, thank you for liking the video. Jacob Mahindu amelike hii video, thank you for liking the video. Frank Ondote amelike hii video. Jalas Fence Services wamelike hii video, thank you very much. Namuona nani hapa? Namuona Gladys amefanya ile kitu, Takish amefanya ile kitu. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing and being part of Africa 24. We are your #1 channel on doing these things that we do, these great conversations, and of course giving you the very best. Namuona Jacob Makindu ako maeneo ya Nakuru. Watu wa Nakuru hamjambo? Watu wa Nairobi vipi? Watu wa Mombasa vipi? Watu wa Garissa mko? Watu wa Wajia mko wapi? Mandera vipi? Na wa join, najua mnani join rather, na ninafurahi tu sana. Nafurahi tu sana. Have you liked? Have you subscribed to Africa? Have you liked? Have you subscribed to Africa 24? Fanya ile kitu, kimbia YouTube, fanya ile kitu, and as you can see, subscribing to Africa guarantees you grand prizes. We kimbia kule YouTube, mbio mbio wadau, mbio mbio, subscribe. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'll be letting you know how you join me in the show, but before I do so much, sinianze na hii clip. Hii clip ndio inatutangulizia leo, inatuanzishia.
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali nyingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa.
Wadau na president wakadai hakutakuwa El Nino, hakutakuwa. The president of the Republic of Kenya chose to say that there will be no El Nino. Now he chose to be a weatherman. Unfortunately, he used the name of God in his defense. Why? Sawa. Okay. Wow. Gives me a chill hata kwanza hisho ni kali This one you must sit and enjoy. Nina wengi ambao wananijoin kunijoin kwa studio. I'll be letting you know how you do that. But the show is informed by that clip and many other clips that I'll be playing. We were told that the rains will be just enough, not too much, but enough for us to maybe kulima nayo na haitakosa mambo. This is not a clip from Kenya, or rather, this is not a clip from services offered in channels in Kenya. I want to play an international footage. We might not have the full copyright for it, but look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
Properties worth millions of dollars destroyed following heavy rains and flooding in Kenya's coastal region. According to the government, over 80,000 households have been affected. Many have lost virtually everything they had, including their livelihoods, and are struggling to cope.
My goats, cows, donkeys and chickens have all been washed away by the heavy rains. I have no food, let alone clothes to wear.
4 of the houses here have been washed away, and those still standing are not accessible because they have been submerged.
The Kenyan Red Cross has been working to alleviate problems. It deployed boats to evacuate residents whose houses have been submerged by flood waters. But more help is needed.
We have over 11,000 people affected in Tana River. This number is increasing day by day. That was meant, the 11,000 people are mostly people from Tana North. Now the number is increasing in Tana Delta.
Kenya's coastal authorities laid bare the true extent of the damage and what they can expect with the recovery effort.
It is not an issue of a building, it is an issue of a whole township. We have received zero funding in regards to El Nino.
Relief agencies say they are struggling to access many affected areas as much of the local infrastructure has been destroyed. Meanwhile, officials are also fearful of disease outbreaks with the flood waters damaging sanitation facilities. According to the Kenyan Meteorological Department, the ongoing rains are expected to remain a threat until January. Daniel Arap Moi, CGTN, Nairobi.
Now, many have seen that is our country inachezwa nchi ingine. But
hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Sisi tunamshukuru Mungu jameni.
So at what point ndio inafaa ifike place ya kuharibu? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show for you. And that is the president. I thought maybe he has a nice backup in the name of his deputy president. But man, here is the man.
Governor atuachie sisi peke yake. Tunapoongea leo, governor wa Wajir, wa Mandera na wa Garissa wamenunua chakula na madawa. Nimetoa mandege, watu wanapelekewa chakula. Sisi katika serikali kuu tutajaribu kununua chakula, lakini tunataka pia county government of Mombasa, gavana wewe pia utoe pesa ununue chakula hawa wananchi wapewe. Tumekubaliana? Tumekubaliana? Na hatutaki gavana yeyote kulaumu serikali kuu. Ati serikali kuu haitoi chakula. Hata wewe gavana uko na pesa. Kama watu wanakufa, hiyo pesa unaweka kwa benki ifanye kazi gani? Pesa yote saa hii kila gavana katika Kenya pahali watu wameathirika wasimamishe kazi zote, wanunulie watu chakula na blanketi na madawa.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I think the national government iko na place wanakuanga na disaster management team and all. Counties, are they really equipped to handle the magnitude of calamity we are in? Right? You know, we might be here, just say, but kuna watu saizi, they don't have food. Kuna watu saizi, their legs are submerged in water, if not their whole body. Kuna watu wamepoteza mifugo yao. Kuna someone somewhere tonight here in Kenya who is not sure how tomorrow will be because either melalanja, maji yamemzidi, the kids are hungry. But we were told the rains will not cause any destruction.
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Sisi tunamshukuru Mungu jameni.
Since in Kenya, these are people walking in the water, these are people being displaced by water. We don't have.
Naomba tuletwe kama kuna rescue yote ili tunaweza saidika kwa haraka. Wenye wako kwa maji sasa waokolewe kwa haraka.
Jana tumetoa jamii family mbili na sasa hivi maji sasa hakuna mwao hapa na jamaa wako na mambuzi huko hatujatoa wote na communication ya mwao hakuna, hatujajua kama tuwasaidie namna gani.
Tunaomba serikali Mheshimiwa Ruto atusaidie hapa kama permanent kwa sababu hapa haifiki maji.
Hii tarabala pia hatutoshi. Ni kidogo sana. Tunaomba serikali atujengee kama wale wengine.
Hii sehemu ambayo serikali imewapatia wajengewe majumba ya permanent. Wakishajengewa majumba permanent, ile sehemu ambayo imebaki inaweza kuwa ni sehemu ya mifugo.
Tunatarajia serikali national government ama county government wapate hati miliki.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
affected counties is Wajir, which will, in the next few days, run out of food, fuel, and other essential services due to the destruction caused by the floods on the main road that supplies the county. As our very own Ayub Abdir Kadir reports, the situation is compounded by the inability to access remote areas where there is already a humanitarian crisis.
The vast Wajir County in the chokehold of floods occasioned by the El Nino rains. A third of this northern Kenya county is underwater. And this situation is likely to be compounded in the coming days if no interventions are made. This is Soko Mjinga, a lifeline for many in this county, but no activity is happening here, and it's a former of itself. The floods have cut off the road that links Garissa and Wajir counties, leading to a breakdown of transport and consequently movement of goods and services here. This serving only to drive the prices of the few commodities available, including vegetables, through the roof.
Kwa saizi barabara hakuna, vitu zimekuwa very expensive. Viazi ngunia moja ni shilingi 15,000, nyanya kreti moja ni shilingi 10,000, na kitunguu pia ni net moja ya 30 kg ni 5,000. Kwa hivyo tumepata sana shida kwa hii soko tangu huu mwezi wa mvua kubwa. Wamama wengi wako hapa soko, tuna watoto wako shule, wengine wanafanya hata mitihani, na saizi tumekwama kwa hii soko na hatuna kitu ya kuuza.
She is among the many severely impacted by the ongoing rains and the consequences thereafter.
Hii shida ikiendelea imekuwa kubwa, sasa taharibika kwa sababu sisi tunalea watoto na hii mboga tukuuza. Hatuna usaidizi sasa. Watoto hakuna, watalala njaa tu. Tunapiga kura lakini hakuna serikali inatusaidia. Hatutengelezi kwa barabara. Shida ni hivyo.
Isa Ahmed had no customers for his taxi business. The destroyed road networks means he cannot move customers from one point to the other. And the dwindling fuel supply, also exacerbated by the cut-off frauds, means his business is even more perilous. He remains helpless as the floods show no sign of reducing.
Dengine sasa imetuletea ni shida ya barabara, hakuna mafuta, station yote imefungwa, hata kama uko na pesa hakuna mali unaenda kununua mafuta. Sasa ile shida ambayo tuko nazo, hata hii gari yangu ndio leo nataka kumwacha hapa niende nyumbani nirudie kesho mpaka mafuta ikuja, jua hakuna mali nyingine utaenda nayo. Jua hata gari sasa nikigurumisha nikipeleka mpaka huko ndo maana yake inazimika na jua hivyo.
The county government of Wajir, despite shipping in food and medical supplies from Nairobi County, is unable to take the supplies to the severely affected areas on the outskirts of the town.
We've been trying to see if there's any private helicopters that can do even minimal lifts to people who are marooned. They're very desperate, but we've not been able to find any, even for hire. And it's not sustainable also, because these things are too costly, really. I mean, it's a time, we called it a national crisis, and made an appeal to humanitarian organizations. And it's a time to see if we can get bigger planes that can land in places where there are no airstrips.
With the weatherman predicting an extension of the El Nino rains, more families are likely to slip into the bracket of those who will need more help as the counties stretch in terms of resources.
Hata juzi tulisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali nyingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa, lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu jameni.
Wow. I don't know about you, but at what point ndio itaitwa mvua ya kuharibu? Ladies and gentlemen, ni mvua kiasi gani ndio itaitwa hii imetosha kuwa declared a national disaster? At what time will there be a serious intervention from the government? And of course, from all of us, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you saw children in that water. I don't know if you saw people say, anyway, it breaks my heart, but I don't know about you. But nijuze hapo kwa comment section. I've tried to do the much I can to show you the state of our country. Namuona hapo jamaa anajita no jokes, anasema do we have a president kweli? Namuona Ruth Nyambuto ako ndani. Namuona nani mwingine? Namuona Zuru Kenya ako ndani. Thank you many for sending in your comments. Well, yeah, it's touching. But above all, allow me to continue reading when you may like a video. Namuona Limo amelike hii video, Steven Wasonga amelike hii video, Sylvester Koyo amelike hii video, Zuru Kenya amelike hii video, Mary Mosioka I see you, James Oyonga I see you, Queen Babe I see you, Macharia KE I see you, and many ambao mna like hii video. We have a great show lined up for you. We have a great show lined up for you. I wish I could play more videos. I wish I could show you how bad the country is. I am not really saying this to make you feel bad, but it is worrying. It is a worrying trend that our country can be like this. And the president has left the country. The president has flown out again. We, sawa sawa. Karibu sana kwa hii show. I'll be telling you how to join the show kupitia link ambayo umetumia kwa Afric YouTube, Afric Facebook. Hiyo link inaingia kwa jina StreamYard. Hiyo jina StreamYard iko kwa hapo kwa comment section. Touch one of them or click one of them, na hiyo itakutuma moja kwa moja hadi hapa kwa studio. We have a great conversation about to happen. You can join us live in the studio, and above all, you can equally send in your comments, and we shall be glad to read it. I don't know. What do you feel about our country? What do you see the government? Is the government serious? Really, is the government serious? We had other challenges, but did we handle them the way we are handling floods right now? There's a child who will sleep hungry simply because the government yesterday, as we showed you, said there is no money. Okay, we begin the show. Karibu sana, karibu sana. At times it gets emotional, but we have to do the show. Yes, leo habari ya leo, karibu sana SG Kamau. I see you my brother. Naona umejichocha na hii baridi na mvua. Mvua iko kila mahali. Kuna wale wanabebwa nayo. Lakini nashukuru Mungu huko mzima. I hope wewe haujakanyanga maji.
Bado bro, niko sawa. Kwetu hakuja beba. We live in the highlands, in the highlands of Limuru. The Scottish Kenyan highlands,
Thank God you're safe. But we continue to ask that God will remember those who have been submerged in water. Leo, how are you? Leo, can you hear me?
Oh, fine, thank you. Fine, thank you, Jex. I'm great.
Yeah, I hope you're
really
safe. I equally
fine
say that in
this evening.
Somalia, kuna some places, kuna floodings.
Yeah, floodings is everywhere. Specifically, most countries that are bordering the Indian Ocean must experience the El Nino right now because of the heating of the ocean. So it only depends with how prepared you are. But so far, however much people think that the Somali government is not stable, I haven't heard of incidences. Most incidences have been managed and things are moving on well despite the instability. So it's so shocking that Kenya is now competing them. Country that has been unstable for 30 years is equally doing better than a country like Kenya that celebrated the 61st year of independence, and they've been stable. They've never had some instability in the country. So it's so sad. Much greetings from the president. Receive greetings from Arusha, Tanzania. Letoka kuorganizia Kazi. He arrived in Arusha, so receive greetings from him.
Well, the president is in Arusha, and I'm telling you, the country is submerged. Wadau. Well, someone has asked up for comment section, do you even really have a president? OSG, I now begin the show with you. What do you think? What is happening with our government? There seems to be no clear direction where we are headed.
You see, we keep on saying this, and I think it is even becoming boring. We have no country,
Exactly.
leave alone government. We have no
Mm-hmm.
country because the
Mm-hmm.
excitement with
Mm-hmm.
this president of traveling, it is like a little kid being taken to the international show.
Mm-hmm.
Unajua, you remember the days you will be told
Okay.
Muchange,
Mm-hmm.
Muchange 1,000, 1,000, and then you're always expecting that day
Mnaenda trip.
mtaenda trip, muende muone
Mm-hmm.
ng'ombe mtoke hapo muone pikipiki,
Mm-hmm.
mtoke hapo muone mboga mwambie mboga inameanga hivi. The excitement with this president,
Mm-hmm.
it is so interesting. He is so funny. He is
Mm-hmm.
going to. I'm told they actually I saw somebody now posting on his page the next conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Even ingine ya ICT,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ingine ya Gabondia ya freedom
Mm-hmm.
fighters. Kuna conference ya freedom fighters wale walikuwa wanapigana Vietnam. Yeah, he might go to Vietnam
He'll be
to see.
attending. Mm-hmm.
He'll be attending. He'll be there in person to see Vietnamese and see the
Mm-hmm.
forest. I mean, it is
Mm-hmm.
it's an
Mm-hmm.
is an hata sijui which language to use, because people are asking you.
Mm-hmm.
You are the president. You are the solution for this country. You have not even declared the El
Yeah,
Nino
yeah, yeah.
that you said it is not there a national disaster. Yet you are here wearing kaunda
Mm-hmm.
suits, going to open to do microfinance. Microfinance of what? Of where? Of
Mm-hmm.
who?
Mm-hmm.
And then ironically,
Mm-hmm.
you see people think we hate Ruto. We don't, because I think
Mm-hmm.
he we don't mate. I don't know. Anytime I talk here, people say, it's a personal issue. It's not a personal issue. How do you address your mother in a
Mm-hmm.
microfinance conference today? You see, these are
Mm-hmm.
small things
Mm-hmm.
that he's doing that makes me ask, wonder, is this guy serious?
Mm-hmm.
This is just a
Mm-hmm.
clown. We have a clown as a president, and therefore
Mm-hmm.
El Nino
Mm-hmm.
is ravaging this country. In the next few days, there will be
Yeah,
no
yeah.
food to talk about, leave alone the fertilizer he's talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because even that
Yeah, yeah.
fertilizer will be swept away,
Mm-hmm.
because they are so obsessed with fertilizer, as if
Mm-hmm.
all the problems you have in Kenya
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
are fertilizer based. It is as if,
Mm-hmm.
Jakes, if you have a
Mm-hmm.
car, you only need to go and buy subsidized fertilizer, put some water and salt, and put it in your car, and you move. That is the biggest problem we have in Kenya, according to Kenya Kwanza. And to make matters worse,
Mm-hmm.
it is even free fertilizer. So,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of this government, because I don't feel represented personally, I don't think we have a
Mm-hmm.
government. It is the most confused government in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And as Leo says, Somalia have a better president, they have a better cabinet, and they have better policies.
Mm-hmm.
What we are having
Mm-hmm.
here, it is
Mm-hmm.
cartoon-like. It is Mr. Bean together with
Now, come out even as I engage you.
this.
Mm-hmm. Even as I engage you, we saw the deputy president passing on the baton, or rather, the blame to the governors. You know, the governors don't have choppers. They don't have counties. Most counties don't have choppers of their own. They don't have the rescue teams from maybe KDF, from the National Youth Service. They don't have such. So how would governors combat this crisis if the government decides to fall
Umekwama Bwana Jakes.
Yes, I
I
think
think
so, but I think your question have been well received.
yeah, I
One
got it.
thing that even I and SG know is that when you have the president is normally the CNC, the commander in chief of the armed forces. And one of the roles of the Kenya army or any other army is normally to protect our external borders. And internally, we use them in situations like this when there is emergencies. So they're the ones who normally provide rescue services. But here is a situation whereby we are having some emergencies in the country, but the commander-in-chief, who should be controlling and commanding his troop to provide some emergency, is away going to Germany. From Germany, he goes to Arusha. From Arusha, I don't know where he'll go to next. This is somebody who is ever traveling. So who is there maybe to give direction to the country? Who is going to command the armed forces that now we are having emergency, you go and rescue the citizens? So the country is totally confused. We are in a confusion, and this one tells you that there is a leadership vacuum. So the good thing is that Ruto is lucky to have Rigathi Gachagua as his deputy, and he had somebody who is competent enough. Then by the moment he would be coming from his foreign travels, who will find that person have already taken power. So I think that is why when he was choosing the deputy, he decided to choose the most term among the group, among the people who are maybe put on the table. Because I don't think somebody like Kithure Kindiki would have deputized somebody of Ruto's caliber. We would have had a coup in this country. But because he's having Gachagua, who is just there as a flower girl or a flower boy or a flower old man, there's nothing that can happen. Ruto can decide. And currently, I don't in the parliament over there. So SG, maybe from your end, I think you also have what you think is happening.
Yeah, if I got Jake's, well, he was talking about a deputy who looks like an educated fool. You know, like barbaric chiefs. Those people who are being elevated. You know, if you any place you go, and particularly in Waindi shops and businesses, you'll find people like those. They are very clueless. Yeah, they look like they are shocked by the happenings all over the world, but they are very loyal. They do not steal the Muindi so much, and if anybody tries to take anything, they'll be there in the morning or late in the evening to tell the boss, unajua so and so alichukua nyanya tatu badala ya mbili akaenda nazo nyumbani. So that's the kind of a character we have as a deputy president. Every time he opens his mouth is a shame to this country and to the people, because I believe Kenya can do better. We can have a better deputy president. I think if you look at us, even the way we are talking, Leo and me, we can make a better deputy president. And we are not that educated. In any case, we ask ourselves if we can be people who gave Obama, yeah, the roots. The Barack Obama, he was the father from Kenya, and the people like Moi Kibaki and Mother Karua and people like Wangari Maathai, Koigwa Mwere, call them all these people, Disho, yeah. And now here we have a very mannerless deputy president. He doesn't know how to dress. He doesn't know how to address people. He is just so incompetent. When I see him, I usually feel shy and I feel like vomiting, because he's a shame to this country. He cannot close his mouth. He cannot dress properly. He cannot do anything that is making sense to the people of Kenya. We are ashamed as the people of Kenya. In fact, nowadays I say I am not a Kenyan. When I look at foreign, I tell them I'm from Burundi, but I'm trying to hustle here, because Kenya is a laughing stock in the world. How do you choose such kind of leaders and you brag with them? If you go to look for coffee, imagine this is a man who says he's going to fight for coffee of Mount Kenya, but the next thing you see him in Cambodia doing is going to the street with a suit or a jumpsuit, wearing moccasins. He's a useless president, deputy president. In fact, I don't know how we got here, but anyway, when you look at that scuffle between the governors, and particularly, you see the good thing about this government, and I am thanking God because God is answering my prayers, is that they have started to quarrel amongst themselves. They are quarreling amongst themselves because when you have very useless leaders, they also fight when they blame everybody and there is no one else to blame. They blame themselves. They blame their friends. Cheragay is blaming Murkomen. Murkomen is blaming Cheragay. Waiguru is blaming the deputy. A deputy is blaming Waiguru and the rest. And therefore, Kenya Kwanza is a circus. And in fact, there you'll be surprised by me saying this statement and anybody listening to me. I'm happy Raila did not win this presidency. I'm so happy because the kind of jokes, the kinds of memes that are coming out of this country, you have never seen in your life. This is a joke. This is a government that it is so confused, and I'm so happy that everything's are cooking themselves. Sioni hata tukifika mwezi wa Urengo said this, hinted on this. When you see the mismanagement of the physical, let's call the physical discipline, the money usage, and the policy on finances and budget. Look at the Kina Dede Nyoro. Yeah, they cannot even explain what they are doing there. Look at the minister of finance, Ndongo. He's a textbook professor. He's talking as if he's lecturing a Form 2 student, telling them how finances are done. Look at Duge. These are cartoonists. These are just by and large Churchill show. And therefore, from where I sit, I'm so happy because things are going haywire. They will not get better. Even those who are thinking that Ruto will change at one point and bring everything down, it will be impossible because of physical indiscipline that we have seen in this government. There is no money yet. The jet is always full with the women and delegates that are going to many countries. It's a funny country, and therefore I can't wait. And I'm not celebrating the failure of the country. I'm celebrating the failure of Kenya Kwanza. I can't wait for this economy to collapse. I'll be the happiest man on earth because if we cannot benefit
SG, I can't hear you. I don't know what has happened, but it's quite unfortunate. Okay, guys, welcome to the show. Today, we are just simply the first thing. Actually, we are congratulating all those students, all those pupils who sat for the KCPE 2023. It's indeed a greater end. I've looked at the results outside there, and I can comfortably confirm that they've ended the KCPE in style. I remember today marked the end of the KCPE, and it also marks the end of the 844 system. And now you'll find that we are ushering in, or we are opening the 26333 that will be done under CBC. I think this is the 39th KCP that has been done. So meaning KCP has been there for almost 4 decades because this is the 39th one, meaning it only remained, maybe had they extended or did one next year, they would have done it for 40 good years. So it's been a wonderful curriculum that has produced some great men and women of this country, but change is inevitable. We have to say bye-bye as the KCP ends and we are ushering in the CBC, which will be about 26333. And the learners under CBC, somebody might be asking the difference. Under the CBC, they will not be doing this kind of exams that we've been seeing in the KCPE and the KCSE. They will now be able to adopt an assessment system whereby they'll be assessing learners through the continuous assessment test. They'll be doing the cuts at the end of the grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6. So it is this test that will form the final mark at the end of the primary school, but they'll not use the test to admit them in the junior secondary school. Instead, they'll just have to join the junior secondary school. That is grade 7 and grade 8, irrespective of the score in these cuts. And we'll do a final exam at grade 11. They'll also do another assessment, which will be used also to show that they completed the grade 11 and are now fit to join the tertiary education, either joining the colleges or joining the universities. So people tend to claim that the 844 was so expensive because students used to do everything possible, parents and teachers, so that they can be able to pass these exams, including malpractices that you've been seeing, because people had to score higher for them to be admitted in secondary school. You had to score higher for you to be admitted in university. So the competition was really stiff. And because we're in a country where everything is possible, parents, teachers, and even the directors of these private schools and the head teachers of some public schools would do some fishy things to ensure that their kids excel, and it also worked as a marketing marketing issue. And that one saw our exams being printed overseas, something that was really expensive. We could not even print exams locally, because if you go and print them somewhere there at Lituli Avenue, or you go and print it somewhere there at Thika, or you take it to Eldoret, the person who is printing it will become the next millionaire by selling the papers. But on in all, we say goodbye to KCPE, and for those people who did KCPE for the first time, you people are now senior citizens. And for those people who did KCPE, and I can say you are now senior citizens, you are now adults, we are now welcoming the CBC, and it is good. Our students performed well. There were so many 400 marks, and they crowned it. They finally ended it in a style. So you can see Jex is back. He can continue steering this. Jex have just congratulated our students for doing well. So for our viewers pia, kama uko na mtoto aliweza kufanya mtihani na amepita, unaweza tuambia hapa ili tuweze kuungana na wewe to congratulate them. One of Raila's diehard, Ruto Kang, also did the exam, and I'm told he really excelled. I'm yet to see the official results. So if you have a son or a daughter who sat for this exam, irrespective of the marks that they got, walete hapa tuwatambue na tuweze kuambia kongole. Asante sana, Jex, karibu.
Yeah. It's raining where we are, so kunakuwa na mshiki ya power. That's why ilikuwa imenitoa nje. It's raining seriously. But anyway, the show continues. Thank you, Leo, for being there. Stand by. I left with Kamau. I hope you'll be coming back. As well, you who is watching us, asante sana kwa kuwa miongoni mwetu. This show is courtesy of Africa TV. Here, we keep it live, we keep it new, we keep it nice, we keep it simple, we keep it just sweet for you. Asante sana kwa kuwa miongoni mwetu. Subscribing to Africa TV guarantees you grand prizes. Subscribe hapo kwa YouTube to our channel and let us grow together. Asante sana kwa kuwa miongoni mwetu. I see many liking. Allow me, Leo, to read some who are liking the video. Namwona Sharon Akoth amelike hii video. Asante sana Sharon. Namwona Eugene Kenya, I see you. Thank you for liking the video. Clement Angwenyi, I am grateful for you liking the show. Namwona Takashi amelike hii video. Alphonse Nzioka, I see you. Gladys Wakish, I see you. Asante sana. Frank Ondote, I send you my gratitude for you liking the video. Jacob, asante sana. Thank you for liking the video. You can as well participate kwa kutuma comment, tujuze tu mawili matatu kulingana na show na what we are discussing. Above all, congratulate those who have passed the exams, and hata wale kufanya visivyo tunatakia laheri, because by the end of the day it's not the end of life. See what watapata 400, see what watapata 200, but whatever marks you got, we thank God for that and we move on. Life must go on. I say Nathan Chumba ametuma comment, anasema God is in control. Thank you. Namwona Tuea Ibra, I see your comment hapo chini. Good year, I see your comments as well. Asanteni sana wadau. To join us kwa studio, link ndio hiyo inatumwa hapo chini. Kindly join us kwa studio. Una join vipi? Una click your comment. Ukiclick your comment inakutuma StreamYard. Hapo StreamYard unawasha kamera, unawasha mic, unaandika jina, alafu na click enter. Tunaendelea na hii show. Now, we were discussing the El Nino issue. Of course, I have found Leo discussing the Class 8 performance, and as well, he was congratulating the many, including one, Nuro Kanga, who has done us proud. I'm not sure of the result as well, but sources have it, sources have it that he scored around 401. If it's so, congratulations my brother here from Africa. Tunakucelebrate, tunakuappreciate. Asante sana kwa kuwakilisha watu wa Jacaranda. Bunge la Mwananchi, now they have their own who scored close to 500 marks. Alibakisha kidogo, 98, 99 peke yake. Yeah. Interesting. You can watch some of the celebrations hapa kwa Afrika tumekuwekea. You can jump to us channels, or rather you can enter channel the Africa 24, na lazima hapo nano ukiingia utakuta such things vitu kali, vitu moto, vitu hot ziko hapo ndani. Subscribe, let this channel grow with you. Asante sana. Leo let's continue the conversation now. Is it okay? Kulingana na takwimu, close over 23 counties have seriously been affected by El Nino. The rains are heavy. Despite the rains being heavy, the president was not quick to even announce it as a national disaster. Because I'm sure announcing it as a national disaster, it attracts even aids from afar. But the president is reluctant. The best he's doing is going to other countries. I don't know if when he goes there, he tells them that in my country, this is happening. He said he's the number one ambassador of our country. I'm not sure if when he goes to these countries, he's telling them of the current state. You can talk large of the things you'd want to be done in the future, but as well, you can talk of what is happening currently. What do you think? When he goes out, does he really speak on the current issues concerning us, if even when he's at home, he does not seem to be speaking about them? Leo?
Okay, thank you, Jax. My thought, I think we are getting it wrong when it comes to disaster management. Disaster management is all about your preparedness and your mitigation measures. It starts in how you prepare, but once you miss it in preparing, then it means everything is going to be wrong. And the kind of mitigation or the kind of response you're going to give will really have a lot of challenges. And preparedness starts with getting the right information. Like you have people that have been entrusted with the various departments. Like in Kenya, we are having the meteorological department that has been mandated to update us on some of the weather changes and give us the expectations. And through that, the ministry that deals with the disaster management and deals with things like emergency is supposed to come up with some sort of response. There are some preventive responses that can be done earlier, but there are some responses that can be done maybe to sort out the aftermath. If maybe the earlier ones doesn't work. For example, I saw some counties like Nairobi trying to unclog the drainage system so that whenever water comes, this water will be able to move freely without causing floods or causing some stagnation on the roads. So if that one fails and it happens that we have some floods, then other measures that can follow, like evacuating people to tell them to go and live in some areas that are highly raised to avoid responding when things have already gone out of hand. So that is where we failed. We failed, first of all, in communication. The president was so busy that he could not get time to get the right information from the meteorological department. So maybe he was confusing the countries he was visiting with Kenya. That is why he would comfortably tell you that, okay, kumesemekana hakutakuwa na El Nino. I'm not sure I got that information from the right people within the country. Maybe he was in a meeting elsewhere, and in that country they were told there will be no El Nino. So he carried the information with that. That is where we lost it. So the nature of Kenyans and the governors and the kind of poor leaders that we have in the position, some of them relaxed. Some of them decided to use the money that they'd already set aside in other issues. But all in all, that happened. The counties did not prepare. Now we are having a disaster. First thing I expected the president to do was to declare, you just need to declare, people have lost lives. I don't know what he's waiting for, or I don't know the threshold that should be met as far as life that is being lost for him to declare that there's some state of emergency that needs to be attended to. Ever since that, the president went to Germany, from Germany today he went to Arusha, from Arusha, the itinerary is busy, and he not even taken a single time to come and talk and address Kenyans that you see, this is what happens. Look, for example, when we had the COVID-19, from the very first day that we had the COVID victim, the first person, I think we had a lady and a gentleman the COVID case 1 and case 2.
Yeah.
Since that day, we used to have daily updates. Why were we having these daily updates? These updates were keeping citizens aware. They were made aware. It was sensitizing them. They were reminded how to wash their hands and the precautions to take. And by doing this, it reduced the effects. It reduced the spread because people are so cautious now. But at this moment, we don't even hear these updates to tell us it is going to rain here, this is what is going to happen, this is what you can do. The person who can do that is the minister in charge or the head of state. We used to see the president, apart from the minister, the president will also give some advice. But that does not happen. Things are just being treated normally. Forget about the people who are not in social media, the people who are not able to access this television so that they can be able to know what is happening in the country. So our response is really poor. We are having the army who should give some response as far as evacuating people is concerned, because emergency responses are reserved for them. That is one of their roles. Their commander who should give that command is nowhere to be seen. So we are having a country that is confused. We are living under speculation. We are speculating because we've not been given enough information. If somebody have not informed you, you remain speculating.
Leo.
Yeah.
Leo, the president only talked that it would be enhanced rains, but this rains already has claimed over 70 people now. So people have lost their lives. Thousands, hundreds of thousands have been displaced. Thousands of homes have been submerged underwater as we speak. At what point will it move the president to know that it's no longer an enhanced rain? As much as they came back and revised the statement, but he was quick to speak and just say that it would be an enhanced rain. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight, even as we are sharing this, I'm sure many would want to even be in this live and watch us, but they are unable to because they are in water. They have been submerged underwater. The country literally is not I see my friend Stella is in the house. Stella, karibu sana.
Just before you continue, Stella karibu, just before you continue, I would just like to welcome this guy. Stella, I want to welcome this Janeko called Kenya Revolutionary to join us, because we are discussing serious issues and he is telling us of Orengo using 900 million that he stole. This money, if it is true he stole it, how do you again bring it back and install it? Then secondly, matters of emergency are handled by the army. That is one of the roles of the army. If maybe that's a basic primary social studies of primary history and civic. So the counties only have this county askari, the guards who are less trained. They cannot handle such things. They don't. No single county in this country have a helicopter or an aircraft that can be used to save people like in Mandera. So sometimes we need to get serious and look at these things with we have some candid conversation irrespective of emotions. So Janeko or Kenyan Revolutionary, tafadhali jiunge nasi hapa na tuweze kuendelea. Stella karibu na Cornell pia nimekuona pale.
Karibuni sana wadau. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Thank you very, very much. I see Cornell Ochuk in the house and many watching and liking the video. This show is for you. This show, as we normally say, is not an extension of the government. Here, we don't advocate for the government. Neither are we a mouthpiece of the opposition. We are just Kenyans talking our issues. Floods is affecting us at the moment. Our people are in water. Yeah, our people are there. Those people you are seeing, the videos I was playing, those are Kenyans. There is no greater Kenyan. Those are equally our people. We need to stand up with them, right? This show is for such people. It's not to discuss what Raila is doing or what Ruto is doing. It's for you, Mwananchi, to come in and really air your views. Show yako, show kali. I say my friend Honorable Alex Akondani. Na show lazima iendelee. Sasa sijui nianze na nani. I've missed you, all of you, but ladies first. Vipi Stella? Ni vipi? Naona smile bado umeitunza hata baada ya masiku nyingi, naona uko tu sawa. Vipi lakini?
Poa sana Jakes, ulipotea ukanyamaza. We were wondering what is happening to this platform. It went quiet. What wanna subscribe? We are not seeing any lives. We've been having so much issues kupanda miti na helicopters, unajua. So I think we've been having a lot. I think there are some things which has been left out, which I think you have to update to kind of also put in this forum. So my first thing is about the issue of the flood. Unfortunately, yes, I know we are experiencing some El Nino here and there. And the thing is, we are having an issue here. It's because we have people who don't want to take accountability. So if you see someone like Gachagua saying that he made the monies were dispersed to counties, yet you find the people, the governors are refuting, saying there is no money came into the counties. Now, here is the thing, Jakes, and everybody here. Now, remember, there's a time when they had set a fund for the El Nino fund. So, fortunately, iyo pesa within before the time when we were warned by the weatherman that El Nino, it's likely to come. So, we stayed 3, 4, 5 months. So, vavoom, now the El Nino is here. So now the problem is here. When this fund of the El Nino was being put aside, there's one thing which I'm really asking the governors: what happened with the disaster management? There was a docket. Now the problem is we have this attitude of the 11th hour. If the weatherman had warned us before, had warned us earlier, the counties could have used that money to get people to do the geospot, to know which are the areas which are likely to have flooding, which are the areas which are likely to have it's called what, banks being busted. They have to check whether the place where they are landslide. But the problem is watu wanakuanga na hii attitude, hakuna kitu itafanyika. Now guys are displaced. Counties do not have, is it they have money or they do not have money, ama they misuse the money? Now they start blaming it's a blame game. Now the thing is, the churches cannot accommodate people, because one thing about the churches, all of them are flooded. Another thing, thank God this El Nino has come when the kids are already in school. Tell me if this situation kama watoto wangekuwa shule na wengine wanalala mashuleni kwa sababu watashindwa kwenda nyumbani. So the person who I really need to ask this question is the governors. What the time when that money was dispersed or not, what was dispersed? What were the proactive things did you do before El Nino? Kama mngejua ile pesa ya dam enye mlikuwa mnaambia that they are all Kimwera, there were so many dams. Even I believe there were so many dams with the Ministry of where Alice Wahome was. I think there were 34 constructed dams from county to county to county, because they were saying they wanted to do something about water harvesting. Maji yote kama ingekuwa directed, because you see we have engineers, we have the Chinese, we have the investors wamekuja, hiyo maji ingena kwa hiyo dam. Now the thing is, hii maji no one anajua kwenye itaenda, hawajui kama itasink, hawajui kenye itafanya, because even the governors right now they are quiet. Yeah, right now Jakes, hakuna chakula inatoka, because now saa hii tukiongea saa hii like kitambo, sorry to say but this is the truth, long time ago watu walikuwa wanapewa relief food, walikuwa wanapewa blanketi, walikuwa wanapewa mosquito nets, wengine watu mpaka walikuwa wanapatiwa madawa. Right now the government is doing nothing, and it's so shaming that of our how many years of independence we cannot even try to take proactive measures. Like we know there's a time kuna kuanga na mvua. Why can't we get these people in government, especially easy watu kama Survey of Kenya, the geospot people, wakuja waangalie mahali kwenye kuna kuanga na risk na floods, wajue kama watalima dam ama wajue
but Stella, how do you bring those people when the president himself
hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali nyingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu jameni.
Okay, let me come
The
back to my
president is
point.
already a weatherman. What did
No. Jakes, wacha tuongee ukweli. If countries like US, in Germany and whatever, you people, you experience these things, sindio? Obviously, like people who lives in the Europe, kuko na walitayarisha hizi whatever dikes. Isn't it the dikes wakati kuna maji inakuja, wanainua, it goes to the sea. This thing, let's not blame this government. It's an attitude problem with the guys who work in such organization.
Stella, let me just help you. Let me help you a bit to answer that. I know there's a question that we people are not answering. In Kenya, we have under the office of the president, there is the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government. And under this ministry that is headed by Kindiki with the PS Ray Omolo, there is a department called the State Department for Special Programs. So this is the state department that is normally responsible for administering and coordinating disaster risk management activities in Kenya. So they're the ones who should be coordinating with the counties to ensure the disaster and risk management is dealt with, including operating some early warning system. So here is where we lost it. And you're giving a good example in these European countries. We normally have got some early warnings. Early warning starts when the meteorological department tells you that you're going to experience floods. From that, this state department should coordinate the counties because, you know, these things, some of them are not devolved, and tell the county, like, let's say, for example, counties in the northeastern are likely to be affected, or you go to counties like maybe Siaya or Kisumu, where they normally have frequent floods, that how prepared are you? What do you need? Do you need some, you know, the police also need to be taken there. We need things that are going to be used in evacuating people, because you can't, I know people are so difficult, specifically we Africans. Somebody will be telling you to evacuate your place and go to a certain place, and people will be asking so many questions. So this is where we failed. The president maybe gave some contradictory information, and as long as I'm not blaming the national government fully, I also blame our county governments. I heard people like Sakaja saying we put aside 2 billion. These are the counties. What were they doing? Were they just waiting for the national government to approach them? So we have to blame both of them. But at the end of the day, the head, who is the head? It is the national government that is responsible. They hold the highest responsibility as far as disaster management is concerned, because this is a national tragedy. 23 counties is almost half.
Interesting. Just a minute for you, Stella, so that I equally give the others. Yes. Go ahead.
Sasa wacha nikwambie Jakes. Okay, fine. Leo umesema ni ukweli, but let's not look as the proactive of it. The thing is, we could have learned this thing in when was the last El Nino? Was it 1997? I think we had 2 El Ninos, one in 1997 and the other one was, I think, 2008, just after the elections. Not after after the 207 whatever, the displacement. My question is here. Since that time, has our ministries and these dockets, have they ever learned anything from now? Because tusianze kurusha blame game. The thing is, it's an attitude problem with our ministry and the people who are in that office. Period, point blank.
Okay. Interesting. Naona Janet anainua mkono. Janet, vipi habari ya leo? Janet, how are you? Washa mic yako hapo kando ya jina. Janet, washa mic. Oh my. Let me see if I can try to help you from here. Guza tu, ukiguza mara moja itawaka. Okay. Aha, kabla uwe tayari na uchuka pia na ngoja pia arudi. I see my friend Honorable mwenyewe, mkubwa mzalendo, mzito mkuu. Jamaa, uko vipi? I hope wewe uyuko kwa maji, and happy Thanksgiving to you, my brother.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Sorry, Honorable, dogo tu dakika moja tu. Janet, naona umeweza kuwasha mic. Habari ya saa hizi, dakika tu moja, Honorable. Janet, are you okay now?
Nzuri sana, habari ya leo?
Tuko
Sijui
salama
kama
na kushinda
mnanipata.
dadangu. Na kupata salama, uko vipi? Aya, maoni
Ni
yako ni
njema
yapi kuhusu
kabisa.
mswada wa leo?
Mimi kenye nilikuwa nataka kuchangia ni kuongelea ni about ile kitu inaendelea Kenya. Yaani saizi mimi niko Saudi, lakini huwa nafuatilia nini zenyu online zenyu zenye kunaendelea. Hiyo kitu yenye inaendelea Kenya haijafurahisha kila mtu. Ndio kama sisi, kwa mfano kama sisi tunapata mshahara tunapata mshahara, lakini unajua ni mshahara mingi, lakini sasa ikifika Kenya hakuna faida yenye tunapata, unaona. So maisha ya Kenya imekuwa ngumu sana, vitu zinatendeka zenye hata mtu akiangalia anapata, yani anakasirika tu hata na kurudi Kenya, kulingana na hiyo story ya kijana mwenye alimwagiwa njugu huyo. Hiyo kitu iliniuma sana, iliniuma sana. Yaani hata kama umeshika mtu umemshika na kweli ako kwa wrong side ya yenye haifai, chukua hiyo chakula mpe ama mshike kuliko kumwaga hiyo chakula. Si vizuri, na vile hali ya maisha imekuwa ngumu, ndio hiyo mvua inanyesha, watu wanakufa, kila kitu inaendelea. Kenya si Kenya saizi. Hata wadozi wetu wanatuuliza na Kenya venye ilikuwa zamani sio kama saizi. Unapata mtu anakuambia nilikuwa natamani kwenda kuinvest Kenya, lakini saizi life ya Kenya imekuwa ngumu sana. So mimi huwa napenda nikifuatilia, at least nijue kitu yenye inaendelea Kenya, ndio hata tukitamani kurudi huko tunaweza rudi ama tukae, kwa sababu hata tukikaa familia zetu zinahangaika na si vizuri zihangaike hivyo. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa maoni yangu, lakini sina mengi ya kusema. Acha nisikize maoni yenu pia. Asanteni.
Asante sana Janet kwa kuifanya iwe fupi na iwe pia ya kushika sana. Asante sana. Now let me go back to Honorable mwenye nampendea moja tu, yeye huanza na a smile. Honorable vipi?
Niko poa, though tuko holiday tangu from Thursday mpaka Monday, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Kenya mi naona inaendelea kuwa vizuri, kwa sababu nilipiga kelele mara ya kwanza, watu wakanichapa, wakasema kichwa kwa mbaya. But what we said exactly, without iota of is what we are seeing is going to happen. What more failed to do is what Ruto is going to do, more especially in the parastatals. IMF is going to make sure that they have taken over all our parastatals, equal multinational, so that we have nothing left. Thirdly, ukiangalia how Ruto is managing that country, unaweza shangaa kuwa hawa watu wanapendana ama hawapendani. It's divide and rule. So we are going to see a lot of chaos within the actors, but eventually, maoni yangu, eventually Ruto will fika mahali Machiavelli alikuwa anasema the prince kuwa watese wanyanyase, ikifika katikati wape waanze kukusifu. So they're going to be a reward time for the hustle. But right now it's calculation ya kumaliza the old money, bring in new money. Ulisikia vile serikali anasema Murkomen alipata bribe how much akienda China? 100 million. So this is going to be a very difficult government. Very difficult. But we'll see where it will go. If it doesn't calculate very well, and uliona hata Dani akisema hivyo ilikuwa ni nani, Mudhama, that the only person anaweza simama against Raila ni Raila. But we are seeing Raila is grooming who? Kalonzo. So we have a difficult future. But let's see first of all what we do with the so-called what he talks yenye walimaliza baba akapewa. It was how many talks? Tuone where they are heading to. For sure, Kalonzo said it's a sure deal, and I'm doubting that. If the cost of living cannot come down, then I think there was no reason for us to sit there and talk, because it's a waste of time and waste of resources. Because that commission alone has used millions. Yes, that's what I'll say.
Now, Cornelo Chuka, I begin from where Honorable has left of this national whatever committee and discuss whatever. As much as they're talking about the cost of living, do you think wameguzia history of floods? Because honestly, someone needs to talk about this, because if we don't, there are people who are dying, there are people who are sleeping hungry, there are Kenyans now suffering, and Prezo Amedai, it is not yet a bad situation. It's not yet that bad. Prezo Amedai, as per him, imvua haitakuwa mbaya. But
hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa, lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu jameni?
Aha, Ochuka ni wewe.
Habari zenu?
Salama sana.
Kwanza rais unajua anaongea kwa sababu yeye anaishi mahali kuna lami, ana shida mingi. I wish mwenye wamepoteza maisha leo, familia ambayo watu wamepoteza maisha leo, angeweza kwenda kuongea nao na waambie vile anawaambia hivyo, ingekuwa chungu sana. Uliona Mombasa basi ilikwama kwenye barabara, watu wametoka ndani, wako juu, wanaume wale wanajiamini na
watu watatu. Today kuna roli imebebwa na maji.
I just want to salute the governors who came out clean and said hawaja receive pesa. We should respect them and we should allow them waongee mingi, because 2 months ago the government ilisema ilipea kila county pesa ya emergency. Na honorable amesema kitu kingine, tulikuwa naye hapa last year na hata before election ifanyike. Tulikuwa tumezungumza about the same thing, hizo vitu zinafanyika. Sasa hizo unasikia kuna Wakisii, nimesikia Sibarati leo amesema South Mujirango kuna venye floods imebeba watu wako shule. South Mujirango MP ni Osoro, si ndio? Osoro ni mtu wa UDA, ako na shares kwa UDA. Si aenda akae na rais chini amwambie watu wangu wako na floods. Osoro aongee saa hii, yeye anakimbia sina chopa, gari kubwa, big clubs. So you see, we lack leaders. Hatuna viongozi. Governor wa Mombasa venye alikuja akasema yeye hajapewa pesa. Anne Waiguru akasema pesa ya department ya November zijatokea, December bado hatujafika, September, October. Ulisikia almost kuna counties zinadai national government 19 million, kuna zenye zinadai sijui how many million. Alafu unataka governor atoke from nowhere kwa ofisi aenda saidie mtu maisha. You know, governor pia ako na shida ngumu. Unafaa kuelewa. Governor ana move kama pesa iko. Kama pesa iko, governor kazi yake ni kuja tu kwa ofisi, kufanya meeting na kusema watu wangu wanakufa. Hawezi fanya anything kwa sababu hana resources. Hakuna venye governor ataenda withdraw pesa kwa account yake. Women rep, senator na MPs wakuja wasaidie watu wao na hawana hata wao wenyewe. Government ilisema kila county itapewa pesa. Gachagua akaenda juu ya gari, deputy president akasimama juu ya gari akasema pesa kila county ilipata. Dakika kidogo tena akakuja akasema aje hiyo pesa wasitegemee, si pesa ya county, sijui ni pesa ya nani. So ukiangalia government iko na a lot of confusion. Hata leo venye KCPE results zimetokea zimedelay, you release them but hazitokei venye unafaa. Kuna a lot of lack of seriousness. Na honorable, these things tuliongea last year, tukiambia watu viongozi ambao mnachagua ni wale wako na makesi kotini na zimekuwa cleared, but at the same time wanafanya hizo corruption. Mambo na Murkomen unasikia ni corruption. There's nobody is helping Kenya. Hakuna mwenye anasaidia Kenyans. Na Wakenya bado wako tuna imani, tunaomba serikali itoe pesa tusaidiwe. No, floods itaua tu watu, tutazoea, itakuja, itaisha. After kuisha because the government itself ina live kwa denial na inadanganya wananchi. Hakuna kitu government imefanya maana hapa. Saizi hata wale watu wamekufa, umesikia government imewashughulikia, county government imewashughulikia, hakuna.
Naona mtu akiniambia nirudie hii video, allow me to replay it. Kuna mtu ameinsist.
Is worth millions of dollars destroyed following heavy rains and flooding in Kenya's coastal region. According to the government, over 80,000 households have been affected. Many have lost virtually everything they had, including their livelihoods, and are struggling to cope.
My goats, my cows, donkeys and chickens have all been washed away by the heavy rains. I have no food, let alone clothes to wear.
4 of the houses here have been washed away, and those still standing are not accessible because they have been submerged.
The Kenyan Red Cross has been working to alleviate problems. It deployed boats to evacuate residents whose houses have been submerged by flood waters, but more help is needed.
We have over 11,000 people affected in Tana River. This number is increasing day by day. That was meant, the 11,000 people are mostly people from Tana North. Now the number is increasing in Tana Delta.
Kenya's coastal authorities laid bare the true extent of the damage and what they can expect with the recovery effort.
It is not an issue of a building, it is an issue of a whole township. We have received 0 funding in regards to El Nino.
Relief agencies say they are struggling to access many affected areas as much of the local infrastructure has been destroyed. Meanwhile, officials are also fearful of disease outbreaks, with the flood waters damaging sanitation facilities. According to the Kenyan Meteorological Department, the ongoing rains are expected to remain a threat until January.
Now, such sites,
you can imagine, and then you can imagine the president anazungumza na anapigiwa makofi. They told us,
yes.
Now we see, alafu anapigiwa makofi. Yet watu wako na floods kukiwa, kuko na msumali, kuko na glasses, so many things. Kuna ugonjwa, lack of water, electricity, huwezi pata medication. So you'll find kuna vitu mingi watu wa Kenya wana go through. Yet the government inacheza mchezo wa tumetoa, hatujatoa, tumetoa, county government hatuja receive. I wonder even hata magavana wale walichaguliwa na UDA, why can't they just come out and speak for their own fellows wenye wako na floods, waseme hapana. Some governors, our colleagues, watu wao wanaumia. You know, governors ambao wanasikia mzuri ambao kwa kujakuwa na floods huwa wanashikana saa matanga, comrade sijui nini, wanabeba coffin ya one of the governors, wanajaribu kufanya ni kama wako na unity. This is the time we need the unity. I saw Anne Waiguru speaking about floods, saying about wenye mambo na pesa. They should come and speak as na sauti moja, kuambia na ukweli kuna shida. some few counties zinaona shida, washikane mikono, because kama governor, most governors wanaendaga Mombasa to enjoy themselves. Why can't they go Mombasa now? Mbona hawezi enda Mombasa now? They should be the one going to Mombasa right now to celebrate, to swim, the most expensive hotels, good meal. They are not going there now. Saizi wako nyumbani, Gishagi, Nairobi. Mbaya, floods zikiisha, kila mtu Mombasa, Mombasa, Mombasa. Wanatupima tu.
Jakes.
Now,
Sasa.
Stella, even as I'm coming to you, let me ask you, when will these leaders wafike mahali, you know, we don't need to have leaders who just sing praises for the government. When even those elected under UDA, will they come out strong and say enough is enough? You know, because by the end of the day, some of them risk going home simply because of siding with the government that is failing the very people that elected them. What do you think, Stella?
Okay, first thing, what I believe, I think the government has failed because, one, they did not put proper structures. Number two, it starts with the leader. It starts with the number one. If you took people and ukaweka kwa ministries that because they're your friends ndio walidrag ndio upate hiyo kiti, you see, now you have someone like Murkomen where because he was a friend, because he pulled so many votes, akapatio kama a token, because I believe everybody in those CSs, all of them were given as a token. PS, CS, wanitangwaje, women rep and what and what. You see, dockets like lands, any docket in the government, you should give a professional, and that is the thing which Uhuru made an example. You get, so akukwa na ile interest ati kwa sababu ulinitafutia nini, because you see right now, Jakes, all the governors, I think there is no even governor I can say that they've done their work nicely. If you check from Murkomen, from the time wakati kulikuwa na blackout, the entire country had a blackout, and shamingly JKIA ilipata 20 minutes blackout. What happens to this guy? Anaenda anavuta MD. Ndio unajiuliza, MD ndio alituma blackout ikuje?
Aliblame Uhuru, alisema Uhuru alifanya sabotage.
It doesn't matter. Look here, wata kama uko nini, leave Uhuru out of it. The thing is, the personnel in that KAA, kuko na mtu aliendaga na flip chart kuangalia kama kulikuwa na any cracks, kulikuwa na anything ama nini, na wanaenda wana report wanasema aje, na hizi mabati zimeraruka, we need to replace immediately. No one took that initiative. They wanted the disaster to happen, so I think they create a crisis that Uhuru's government took bogus contractors. Leave the bogus contractors. It's an attitude problem. 2 weeks ago, there was also a blackout. The entire country, JKIA again went to blackout for another 20 minutes. So you ask yourself, ule mtu mwenye ako pale kwa generator ama watu wa KAA, did someone took any initiative kwenda kuangalia generator iko na stima 2 3 nini? No one. It's an attitude problem. I'm telling you, if it was a professional, from the engineer to the groundwork, watu wangekuwa wamepelekwa summary dismissal, because they absconded their duties to work as they nini. But huko watu wanafikaga, they do whatever they want to do, then they are paid their salary, then they kick rocks. If you see right now, venye hii nini El Nino iko, you've heard with yourself that Red Cross are struggling kwenda kupeleka relief. It is so ashaming that tuko na helicopters from the army. We have nini helicopters hizi ma MPs huwa wana fly in, fly out. Hata wakati wa kupanda miti walipanda helicopters na kulikuwa na El Nino. Then we have Kenya Police.
Mtu mmoja ako na 6, mwingine ako na 4, mwingine ako na 3. Unasikia mjumbe ako na 4, mwingine ako na 6, mwingine ako na 3.
Na helicopter. Why not food relief? Why not medicine? Why not nini? Why not sanitary issues? But when there is a crisis, you want to show that but the media also, they are not also supporting this nini, these tumbocrats guys.
They should shame. That is the work of the very media. You should shame the government, telling them, shame on you. We have Red Cross. We have people from other NGOs who are trying to mbona muzie wapatie helicopter. If you can use 10 billion kwenda kupeleka helicopter, watu waenda wapande miti from one country to another. What is so different with this one? And Red Cross are not asking wabebe muzigo. They just need to reach to the needy. That is the issue with this government. And it starts with its own people, the CSS, the PSS, to everything. The government, the governors also need to take that blame. Kwa sababu even them, when they are seeing these things zikifanyika, why are they keeping quiet? Wangenda was shame the way nani venye today, she's called Chelangui, whoever, ashamed nani Murkomen. And
He's called Cherargei. But there's one thing I don't know, though. However much people say Cherargei.
Look, what I'm saying, because the Senate, they oversight, they should call these people into book. Like if they can whoever interrogate nani Kawera Mwangaza. Why can they pick any other governor kwambia? Because your county, let's take like Tana River. I don't know who is the governor was there. Who is the governor? And ulizwa mulipatiwa pesa ya disaster management. I remember that docket. It's still today up to now. And when I check in the website on these people were given 6.2 billion during the financial year. Then kuko na hii ingine walikuwa nasema El Nino, that El Nino sijui fund and what. So if Nkango, the lady said that money cannot be traced, or they said they diverted that money to somewhere else, they need to get accountable. Get this, the governors, they need to answer that question, because why do you use money and inatakiwa over certain time of need? But now you want to come and cry, oh, El Nino here, El Nino there. You were given sufficient time ya kujipanga. They should not come with excuses. This is a government which has governors and PSs. Everybody has an excuse, end of the day. But now the thing is, sahi Kenya wamechanuka. Kenyans wamechanuka sahi. I am telling you, ikifika 2025, utaona wakikuja hapa na magogoro wakianza kutuomba kura. And I want to challenge the youth. Do not return those people. Get someone mwenye hata hana idea lakini anajua what is going on.
Stella.
Yeah? Yes.
Stella. Anu Waiguru ndio mkubwa wa magavana, si ndio?
Don't care.
Anu Waiguru, just say it. Anu Waiguru ana serve the second term, si ndio? The last one, si ndio? Anu Waiguru will want to wish to be G deputy president, G president. And imagine people will elect Anu Waiguru. Yet right now, people are dying. Anu Waiguru is doing nothing. He's not even forcing those things to zisikilizwe na serikali. Anajiangalia yeye mwenyewe. Unajua kuna watu Kenya saa zingine huwa I think tunafaa kuchagua watu tukiangalia na Kenya unafanya. Anu Waiguru saa hizi ni mkubwa. Anu Waiguru anafaa kushughulikia wananchi na position yake. Yeye ni governor wa Murang'a wa Kirinyaga. Yes, but Kirinyaga, but anafaa at the same time yeye ndiye ako mkubwa kwa chair ya governor, councils of governors. Anafaa kupush serikali isikie hawa magavana waheshimiwe na wapewe pesa. I think amenyamaza. After this utaona akisha serve 2 terms atataka tena another seat. Akue kwa line ya politics for the next 10 to 20 years. Na Wakenya watakuja kuchagua na wengine wakisema ni mama, ni mwanamke, ako na characters mzuri, aliserve vizuri. Wanasahau kulikuwa na floods, akufanya anything. So one day Anu Waiguru akipewa cheo, akianza kukula, mnauliza Anu Waiguru pia ako hivi. Tutumieni akili. Tutumie na tusisahau akili yetu vizuri.
Colonel, the only thing we need to sanitize these people to get out. We need to give member education to the youth. But right now I'm seeing the youth are now going to suffer. Let me give you an example. I am sorry, but I'll say without fear and contradiction. You remember what whoever had done? What's his name? This guy called, what's the name of our guy? Huyu mwenye aliongeza ID. Please remember that right now, because Kindiki, yes, You see Kindiki sabotage this government because let me tell you, Kano, why do you have to say that someone has to get 1,000 to get an ID? Let me tell you, there are people who cannot even get that money, even that time. Kuna wengine even that 1,000. It is what they survive within a month. The thing is what Kindiki is doing. He wants to frustrate the process so that my youth wengi wasipate ID, kubaki boomers wakirudisha the same boomers. And this is what I'm trying to say. Us, we should take the initiative to try and go mashambani kwetu mashinani. Tushikane na vijana wa boda boda. The people who are under 18 and above. Let's not get people who are over 40. We do not want to have to boomers. Because boomers, the thing is, they are brainwashed by the church and they are brainwashed because of 1,000. Youth akijua amekuwa deprived with ID, he will not go to get these people kuingia kwa kiti. Then another thing, unaona saa hii, even right now, funding ya university. Me and you, Kano, we used to know that HELB ilikuwa inalipaga everything. Right now, if you go to Nakuru, especially place called Ngata,
oh my, Stella amefanya ile kitu. Okay, I see she's back.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Even Stella na load.
I think
what has Ngata done?
Sorry, Munaniona.
Go ahead, Stella. What has Ngata done?
What I was telling Canon, right now, this government is depriving the youth. They don't want the youth to take up because they know 2027 they are not going to come back. That's why Kindiki took the initiative kutuma watu wakwe na ugumu ya kupata ID. Please remember, your ID is your right of identity. Even after your 50 bob, sitaki ukulipa. Why am I paying my taxes? Why am I paying my taxes? Now, things like university funding, the kids have now turned to go to prostitution. They've gone to wash because they want to look for money. Though at least they better themselves, which is a crime. Yes, but the crime is you have to sanitize yourself because you need to have an education end of the day. But what is the government doing now? Right now, as tukiongea sahi juu ya hii funding, hakuna mtu hata Babu Owino mwenye alikuwaga Sonu. He has not even gotten kwenda kuchukua watu wa demonstrate, especially students ama wapi, waende Njogo House, ama waende State House, ama waende Uhuru Gardens, waseme, this is unfair. The problem is, even these universities, they are also siding with the government. They could have closed doors because how are they going to get funding if they are not students? So there's something wrong with this government. And I urge people that anytime this mtu akikuja kukwambia ati government haikutupea pesa, CDF kazi yake ni nini? So governors should be held accountable for all this mess. You knew that you're a governor. You know that your place inakuanga prone na floods. Mbona uko na kuita Chinese contractors wakuja watengeneze dam? Saa hii wakati ndio mvua imekuja ndio mnaanza kusema the rain here, the rain there, the rain here, the rain here. These governors, they've taken more than 10 billion per person every month. Where are they taking that money? Where are they taking that money? Sasa shule itafunguliwa kuanzia next year. Hakuna madarasa, zimeshaoshwa na floods. So hiyo pesa ya CDF watasema namna gani? We are still waiting for the national government to give us money. No. This is an attitude problem. And this is what I'm trying and I'm saying. I'm urging us people, the forum us, we need to give member education to these young people. Wasirudisha hawa vijana. Wasirudisha hawa vijana. Next week, but one, kuko na public participation ya story ya Kindiki, mbona asiongeze ID? Sasa alikuja na reverse ID ni 1,000. Who is going to get that 1,000? So the next thing we are going to be charged, it is also we are going to be charged our PIN, which is unfair. I am tired. Mimi nimechoka tu. Penye nasikia tu mvua inanyesha huku ninakasirika.
Mimi hata leo ningependa tu kuongea na watu wa diaspora. Ningependa kuambia watu wa diaspora pia. Watu kuja kwenyu.
Kuambia Nairobi River imejaa mpaka kuko na flood Globe Cinema. It is that bad.
Nairobi River imejaa na when Ruto was elected, the first political award yenye alipeana ni kwa point a certain committee yenye imeongozwa na huyu mtu anaitwa Waititu. Kazi yao ilikuwa ni nini? See, there is a certain committee for Nairobi River and whatever headed by Waititu. These guys earn salaries. So what have they done so far? It is almost a year, I think so, a year since atapewe kazi.
Sasa hebu nikuulize, si walikuwa wanapeangwa
what kwenda kusema watu wa diaspora, unajua hao politicians wanakuja kwenyu huko wanaongea venye sio wanataka kuja kutusaidia huku, mnawapea dollars, wana convert those dollars kwa maisha zao. Right now unasikia president alikuwa US, alikuwa anatembea tu kwa streets bila security wengi, lakini hapa Kenya hakuna siku ameonekana ametembea kwa hata Moi Avenue, Tom Mboya, hajaitembea huko Ngara, na akitembea huko Ngara utaona security wengi sana, lakini yeye akiwa huko US hakukuwa na those security. Inakwambia mtu anaenda kuamini wengine lakini hawezi amini kwake. Yeah, hapa akitembea kwa armored vehicle, ako well, sijui bulletproof, sijui nini. Yet ni hizi pesa zetu ndo zinatumika vibaya. Mtu anatoka diaspora na idea ya kuchimbia watu mavisima damu, anafika hapa ananunua TX, anajenga nyumba sijui wapi. Wakenya wanabaki hizo project zimefanyika, zimepotea. Yes. Sakaji unasikia nilinunua boat Nairobi. Saizi Nairobi kunanyesha, sijaona any floods. Hizo boats tutatembea nayo Moi Avenue, Kenyatta Avenue, Kimathi Street.
Wacha niwachekeshe. Unaona hiyo TX yenye nani Ruto amenunua na nasikia that TX which it is called custom made, sijui bulletproof and nini. Do you know it can make how many schools in Wajir? But you see, the other thing I need also to fault the governors, because are the housekeepers of our constituency. They know very well that contractors, especially wacha nikufurahishe Jake, every week ukifungua gazeti kila mtu anauliza request for proposal kutengeneza dam, request for proposal kutengeneza dam. A lot of people wamejaza proposal. Sasa inakuanga game ya piki ponki. You don't choose the person according to the criteria. So unaangalia ni nani ako na pesa mingi. So they decide, let's pick someone like Jake. Lakini Jake, wewe umeenda umefungua kampuni 3 months ago. Lakini ule mwenye ako na experience ya 20 years ago, mpaka ameita funding partners wake kutoka China, amewatoa nje. Unaelewa? So inafika wakati governor anaanza kusema ati hapana, unajua sasa mwezi waita tunataka kupatia watu wetu kazi. Wewe Jake unaleta bulldozer, grader, unalima kilomita 2, alafu umesema pesa imeisha. Haya, unaenda kwa governor's office, anakupatia 20 million, anakuambia kijana wewe enda, tutaongea baadaye. Then unasahau our election year inakuanga with a cycle 5 years. What happens? Kuje Jake tena. The previous regime, sasa umetoka UDA, umeenda chama changu party. Waja kublame. You see, it is a cycle. Let me tell you, Jake, there is money in Kenya. If people can afford to fly helicopters kupanda miti, budget ya 56 billion. Ile ingine juzi tulisikia mtu alipewa 17 billion. Yet to see on the treasury, we saw the CS of treasury ali withdraw 13 billion. Akadivert hiyo pesa. Then they are using Anjeri as a scapegoat. I swear Kenya has money. I don't know why we should borrow. If we can waste 56 billion, then you add 17 billion, then you add other billions. How many billions are there in a month? Can't we fund ourselves? This is what I'm asking. Let me tell you. One thing
maji kidogo. Now,
wacha nikunywe maji, but it is so annoying. Ukuje tu hapa uone the way right now mafuta ndio hiyo. There is that government to government deal. No one is coming clean on that. No one is coming clean.
It's Kenyan's government with the conman. Kenyan's government na conman.
Everybody is a because everybody needs a piece of pie. Jake na nini mnatakiwa kutuambia kwa nini huko huko kwenye mko Germany hamtaki mafuta juu you people you are going to green energy. So unaona Mwarabu hata akitupatia mafuta anajua nawapatia throw away because even right now Mwarabu amejua the only way of getting my country to be in clean energy ni hiyo jua na joto. But sisi mapolitician wanaona kuko na pesa kwa mafuta. They are forgetting hii mafuta itaisha one day or another. Sasa saa hii to speak right now Tanzania na Uganda wamesema mafuta hataki ipitie Kenya. We'll use Tanzania, we'll know how to get the oil on our end. Because the thing is people wanaenda this thing as we say come with your clean hands tuongee what is on the table. But what happened? Chir na EPRA na they went behind the Ugandans guy. Then they went and closed a deal without the knowledge of these guys. Then what happened with Uganda? Museveni said, kick rocks. I do not need your oil. We can also get it from the other side of Congo. It's also a place where kukonasi from the Atlantic. Kama sio hivyo, they can use the Somaliland. So it is not a big deal. But now the problem is the attitude of these people ndio wameharibu.
So by the end of the day, we are the ones losing simply because of our. We are the ones losing because of the choices our leaders are making. Now, I want to come to you, Leo, kidogo tu, acha nimpe Stella nafasi anywe tu maji. Leo, let me ask you. Now we are talking of floods. Soon and very soon, we'll be talking about droughts. This water will not be used wisely. As much as it is in excess, we will not make dams, we will not harvest it, we will not conserve it, we are not prepared now, neither will we be prepared when it is now the dry season. So utaanza tena kusikia tunaanza kutafuta pesa za kutafuta nyasi, pesa za kutafuta maji, mifugo wanakufa. At what point should it bother us that now we need to do something about what is happening now and prepare for what would happen, of course, tomorrow, because it's almost obvious if you read your geography very well. El Nino inafuatananga na kitu inaitwa La Nino. La Nino is now the dry. And now, what will happen then?
No, Jax, I told you earlier. You know, when we talk of this disaster management, it is not only how you manage and mitigate maybe some problems that you're having. It's also how you manage your lessons. Which lessons are you going to learn? And how do you respond to the lessons? Stella started by telling us the last El Nino was experienced, that is after the post-election violence. And that one followed the one that was experienced in 1997 or something like that. So if we did not learn lessons from the 1997 and the one in 2008, we're still doing the same mistakes, then it tells a lot about how prepared we are or about our advancement. So it seems we are not learning lessons. We know very well, right now, if you go to the northeastern part, it tells you that our country is not yet prepared because there is no way as a country in the 21st century, we can be crying of floods and cry of drought at the same time. That is impossible because simply after floods, if we were wise enough right now, what the government would have done, immediately they were told we are going to experience El Nino or Rio Mvua Mingi, as the president puts it, they would have put in place some dams that, okay, there are some areas that don't have water, like the northeastern part and the Tana River. So what are we going to do with this excess water because you're going to have a lot of rainfall? Can we build the dams? So these dams are not only going to control the water and prevent loss of life and loss of and damage of property, but they're also going to ensure that after this rainfall, these people are going to have some rain that is going to push them ahead. You get it? That is what people should have done. But the country is now being run like an NGO. You know what happened with NGOs? Their business is in disaster. So NGOs exist because of disaster. If you do away with disaster, they cease to exist and the business is no longer there. And if you write a proposal to any NGO that you want to do something maybe like sustainable a project like agriculture, they will tell you it is not the role of these humanitarian organizations to do sustainable projects. That is the role of the government and the UN development organ. In other words, their role is to deal with the disaster. So our country have degenerated itself into the level of an NGO that now they want to deal with the disaster. They're not dealing with the disaster, they're dealing with the aftermath of disaster. After people have died, they want to be transporting bodies, they want to be buying people blankets, they want to be feeding people after some of them have died because of hunger, but they don't want to produce food to prevent or to stop people from dying. So we are operating. Ruto is running this country like an NGO. That is why he will leave the country and tell you, I'm going to Germany to organize some 250,000 jobs, which is imaginary. They are not there. At the same time, is the same man who told you, I will be creating 1 million jobs every year. So you cannot create jobs for your people, but you expect other people to create jobs for themselves and create jobs for you. That is what NGOs do. They keep on begging from place to place. Okay, there are floods in Ahero. Can you give us this 1 million? There are floods. So that is what they do. They look for disaster and beg for money. And then the state that our country is. We are just waiting for disaster. We are praying that we have disaster so that we can go and beg for money outside there. There's nothing much that they're doing as far as
I played for Wajir. Let's see what is happening in Tana River. The situation
Left out, but they mostly lost property as the majority of their livestock were taken to safety areas before the heavy rains began. Disaster worsened. Local residents now say they are ready to be resettled elsewhere to avoid perennial floods that displace them.
Now, I don't know if it can freeze at that point. Just one moment.
Wenye wako kwa maji sasa wako yote ili tunaweza saidika. Naomba tuletwe kama kuna rescue yote, tuletwe kama kuna rescue.
There, I don't know if you can see the photo there, the image there. Now, there's a child there, or rather, there are several children. There are people carrying their luggages, fleeing from the waters. This site, I remember it vividly as though it happened yesterday when we had clashes in Kenya. Ochuka, what do you make when you see such a photo? What do you feel in your heart? These are Kenyans. We are not talking of a different. This is our country.
Naomba tuletwe kama kuna rescue yote ili tunaweza saidika. Naomba tuletwe kama kuna rescue yote ili tunaweza saidika kwa haraka.
What comes to your heart, Ochuka, when you see such a photo or such a clip about
it is so sad.
The country? Where leaders are there, but really,
it is so sad and unashindwa kusema. Media zetu, I think it's high time usijaribu kuniambia nani ako na pesa Kenya, nani ana pesa. I think it's high time tuache kuacha. It is so sad to see people suffer, go through maisha ambayo hata si wao ndo wametaka, ni maisha ambayo wanaweza saidiwa, na tuko na viongozi, alafu viongozi wako na magari kubwa kubwa, manyumba kubwa kubwa, they have choppers, wako na chakula kwa fridge. Hata right now najua wengine wanamwaga huko nje because hizo chakula zime expire. Mtu anamwaga maziwa lita 5, and kesho sisi bado ndo tunawakimbilia tukiwa support, tukiwaabudu. I think it's high time Kenyans waangalie tu vizuri na wakae chini kidogo, because hizi shida waliambiwa na hatukujua itafika hapa, lakini ni uchungu sana. Hata wewe saizi, mimi na wewe Jex, tukiwa hapo nje saizi na hii mvua, tukiwekwa hapo nje na uko na familia, watoto na bibi hivyo,
yeah, you can imagine.
Yes, na pia uko na bibi, watoto, uko na watu kwa nyumba, relatives, friends. na mnatembea hivyo na mwezi kula. Ni uchungu sana nikiona mtu kwa TV anavaa vizuri, anajiita kiongozi, anasimama kanisani. Ni uchungu sana, ni uchungu na ni
kanisa.
aibu kubwa.
Like how they kuongea kwa kanisa. Why are you sanitizing your incompetence? Una sanitize na going to the podium, unaenda unaongea kwa kanisa.
Hata churches, hata mapastors na wanafaa kuwanyima hizo microphone. Hawafai kupewa
hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko. Wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa, lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu jameni?
Tunasaidika kwa haraka.
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko. Wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa, lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu?
Now, our watu, that video I'm now playing it. Our watu, Alex, help me. What do you make of this and the president? What?
If I can tell you something, you'll be shocked that we have a president, we have a cabinet. President akona nia mzuri. For example, anawaambia endeni mfanye kazi. Ana release ministers wake wakafanya kazi. Ministers nao wanatoka huko nje, the first thing wanafanya ni kuchange magari ambayo the last regime ilikuwa natumia. Wao wanaingia kwa serikali wanasema hizo ni mzee, wanataka the new vehicles. Mtu mmoja anaoda 4 ama 6 ama 3, moja ina cost 23 million ama 25 million aside, that one aside. Another unapata tena minister amewekwa pale, amechaguliwa na rais asaidie wananchi. Minister anaingia pale, anachukua ushuru, anachukua corruption, anajijenga yeye mwenyewe. Alafu kesho unasikia anasema aje, problem inaanza wapi? Na president. So president pia anafaa kujua hawa watu ni kina nani, na kama mwezi fanya venye nawaambia, na wavuta kazi. Na right now the right time Ruto achague. We have mama mboga zenye wamesoma kwa na PhDs, we have boda people na kuna PhDs wanaweza fanya kazi. It is high time we stop electing leaders who are young, 35, 40. Those leaders are not going to help us. Mtu wa 45, 55, 60 atatusaidia. Look at nyakati wa kina Lentimama, Saitoti. Watu walikuwa wanafanya legislation kwa parliament ya ukweli ya wananchi. Siku hizi unaenda unapata kiongozi anashika microphone anatupa matusi, badala atoe jinsi ya kusaidia wananchi, na anatukanana na anasema mimi hamtanitisha hapa, na anaongezea ingine tena juu, alafu inakuwa aired. Alafu tena inasemekana ako na pesa, anaishi Karen, ako na nini, watoto wake wanasoma US. It's high time hizi media zetu pia ziwache kuweka watu wenye wako na pesa sana. Pesa yao itusaidie.
Very good. Yes. Look, Kano, there's another thing I really need to add on here.
Alex, just one moment, I'll be coming to you with that. I wanted to ask Alex this. At what point should the government really come in? Because if it's not coming in now, what number will make them come in? Is it when it is now over hundreds of people who have died? Because already it's at 70 something people who have already died. When will we see this government taking charge? Because the best they do is either blame the previous regime, and if it's not blaming the previous regime, it's blaming the governors. If it's not blaming the governors, it's not doing anything at all. And if it's doing anything at all, it's saying what God has done. You know, like, sorry to have even said that.
You know,
Alex.
You know, Jex, in a civilized country, when a president goes out of the country, and there is a pandemic, he cannot sit in European Parliament and give what? A speech. He will come home immediately so that he can be responsible for the work that he took an office or oath of office. If one American dies, they will do everything in their power to show their sense of humanity and deal with the people who are responsible. So I think the buck stops at Ruto. When we saw floods here, Ruto was in Europe, in Parliament. So look, if you look at how Obama ruled this country, he was responsible for even things that he did not do. So, but sometimes, Jakes, look, I don't know what new things we can say in order for people to truly understand that they just need to open the eyes and the ears to a point that they see the unseen. When people go to vote, Jakes, what is the point of voting? They don't remember they have what? Floods. They don't remember they don't have dams. They don't remember. Ni vile Simbarati said the other day, tusiage, kisiagi. Munasiagwa, munaenda jioni, munakula, munarudi nyumbani. And as long as we cannot stop that, Jakes, we can't be here complaining for people who will never understand. That one I've stopped. That's why even maandamano nilisema siwezi enda. Kwa nini? Stress inatukula hapa. Tunapiga kelele kila siku. Lakini hawa watu, they don't want to listen. So, I mean, Jakes, this is beyond what we should be doing now. And not that I don't love Kenya. There's something called tough love, Jakes. You allow people to experience what they don't want to listen. And vile Stella ameongea hapa, how long will we be making noise? What I can tell you, Jakes, and what I know is, in my language, there's somewhere unasema navokorosa, which means unafika point, you know, you are depleted. Okay? Because these are the same people tulikuwa tunawakatasha. Don't be called hustlers. Please, don't be called hustlers. But Jakes, kama nyinyi munawaonea huruma, mimi niliacha. Niliacha so that people can start thinking, because you can't think for people. You can't think for people. You can't cry for people overdue. You have your children. You will die and leave them here, still being the same thing. Now, Ochuka, it's not that I don't love Kenya. The way I said first, wacha hizo vitu ziendelee hivyo. It's because when the same people munakaa now Kenya, let's say in a social place, they will come with you, they will sit down, mutakunywa kanywaji na wao, and then finally watakuomba tena pesa. You get frustrated. You get frustrated. So it's not that I don't love Kenya. We must come to a point whereby Kenyans must know their responsibilities. Look at Kagame. Kagame aliwaambia mkubali, msipokubali hii nchi nitaiweka. And they agreed. They've never taken that man out. Look at Magufuli. Alisema hatutaki deni hawa watu. Akawalipa, akawaambia toka. But now look, we are borrowing left and right, left and right. We don't even know how much. Hakuna pesa. I saw Mudama lying to us the other day that walipata hakuna pesa kabisa.
Hata kuna receipt ya kumwaga mafuta.
Uliona Mudhama the way he was speaking. So unakaa unauliza, where is the logic here? Look, sometimes our watu wetu, they need to know the truth, which will set them free. But if we keep on pampering them, they will never understand. I feel bad, Jex, but for how long?
We should not be entertaining them. Wakikuja kwenyu, like the way Ichungwa alikujaga hapa Dagoretti, he was booed. Alikuwa anaambiwa itina matako. Ruto alikuja kuongea hapa, no one clapped. We showed them a cold shoulder. And that is what I want to tell people. All these people wakikujaga na sunroof wanakuja kwa address, wanawadharau. Do not, wakikuja tu, you people have your own business. This is the problem of Kenya. Sijui wakionaga mtu akikuja wanakimbia. Hisi ile enzi ya Moi alikuwa anakujaga, watu wanafika hapo alafu wanarushio pesa. Hii government hata shilingi huwezi pata chini. Shilingi hata si shilingi 5.
You remember Osoro alikuwa Rift Valley akiongea something na women rep wa Bomet. Akaambia crowd, alifukuzwa, akaambia crowd, mimi niko na pesa. Mimi ndo napanga watu huko parliament, wananipea ndo mimi nawaambia hivi. Right now kwa Osoro saizi kuna floods. Hajakanyaga huko. Yeye mwenyewe akona shares UDA. Osoro akona chopa, akona kila kitu, akona machinery zote. Lakini saizi hayuko. Saizi tu ni mkazi na kutembea mahali pazuri, hizi hoteli kubwa Nairobi, lakini hajaenda home. Governor mwenyewe pia analia hajapata pesa ya county ya Kisii. Anawaambia mimi sasa nitawasaidia aje, sijapewa pesa na national government. So I was also wondering, magavana hizi pesa ambao wana collect kila siku, kama national government inakataa kunipea pesa, mbona mimi nipe national government pesa? Why should I release that money? Yet people are dying down here. People are dying.
But you see, let me tell you, every financial year they ask for a budget, isn't it? So now they say they wanted to collect 9 trillion. Then they started saying, let's divide this money. Kulikuwa na surplus mahali. Let's divide this money. Let's assume each county ilikapatiwa 20 billion. Hiyo 20 billion, remember, hakuna pesa ya mshahara, hakuna pesa ya inaitangwaje ya kufagia nini. Hii tu imewekwa tu kama 20 billion ikae tu hapo for the rainy day. Right now no one can account that money. No one can account that money. The last time when the senator went to Turkana, I believe muliona your picture. Did you see when he went to Turkana? Uliona ofisi enye Narok alitengeneza nayo ya almost 6 billion. Yet that 6 billion ingekuwa imetengeneza how many schools and how many wells in Turkana? And it's not that Turkana is...
Zile miti mlipanda za milioni, si zimebebwa na maji? Zile miti mlipanda na milioni, si zimebebwa na maji? Hiyo pesa mngetumia vizuri.
Walibeba na helicopter na bebo na maji.
Yes. So nakwambia
now ndio nilikuwa naambia Jake, sisi tuko na issue hapa. These governors, they need to be venye anaita kwa nani huyu Mwangaza, this lady of Meru. Hata sisi we should summon Sakaja atuambie the 150 billion enye alipewa, alipeleka wapi hiyo pesa? Sai kila shule.
Nimeona leo Sakaja amevaa nguo mzuri, anauliza watu nakaa aje. So should we tukule venye amevaa? Amevaa nguo ya sijui hiyo ya City Council, anauliza nakaa aje. So nikashangaa, hii nguo tukule, hii nguo na watu wanakufa.
Aya, kitu moja cha nikufurahisha.
Unaweza kula hiyo nguo, unaweza ikula kwa sababu walisema hawakuli barabara.
Let me tell you, if Nairobi can get 150 billion, And this guy, number one, soko hajaijaza watu. It is White Elephant Project, si ndio? Walipewa pesa ya construct BRT. Walishikana na engineers wakadivert hiyo barabara, wakaanza kutumia excuse ni expressway iliharibu maneno ya BRT. Haya, secondly, ukijaribu kwenda kuangalia ma estate, all of them are flooded. All of them are flooded. And this guy has the temerity of saying that money alitumia kulipa chokora kwenda ku unblock sewage na mtaro. Does that make any sense ya kulipa 150 billion kwa machokora wenye wanabebaga dini ngunia ati walienda kufungua
all these governors wa Nairobi, you cannot compare them na nini. Hata nani huyu mwenye alitoka this general alifanya kazi perfect. Hata Mbadi, was it Mbadi? Mbadi alifanya kazi safi, zinaonekana saizi.
It is inaonekana because unakumbuka hata hiyo project yake ya pavements na nini na kila kitu. Mbadi had to make sure each and every estate should have water. Mbadi made sure kila soko traders hawako wanalipa pesa cash, ilikuwa inalipa na pay bill. But right now Saikaja amedivert hiyo pay bill. Right now hata parking enye waliokota almost like 9.2 billion for last month wakiongeza 300, that money cannot be accounted. If kama parking wanaweza, they cannot account that.
Kuna kitu moja that we need to know, the mistake that maybe we did in our constitution. There is only one mistake that we did that we need to know. Hii position ya governor is not good with a politician. Nobody wasn't a politician. When Badi was appointed there, through the Nairobi Metropolitan, I was in Nairobi in some parts of Njiru. There were these wells that were drilled. They drilled water, and every community, at least in each and every ward, there was a public water that was free of charge. And since Badi left, I visited some of them. You find that they've been sabotaged by how vijana wa mtaa and the cartels who are dealing with water. But during Badi, you could not do it. I think Uhuru was wise enough to understand that such kind of work doesn't need a politician who will play some populist politics, but it needs somebody who is strong enough. Badi will say, okay, we are going to remove this takataka here, and if you return them, then we'll face you. So when you look like at people like Sakaja, they know very well if they drill for you water, even Sonko, you will not have the Sonko rescue team to give you water. They know very well if they make it mandatory that each and every public hospital is having an ambulance that will be picking you free of charge whenever you are sick, they will not be able to come and take some photos and videos pretending that they are helping you. Look at what is happening in Nairobi. Sakaja's men have some fight with those hawkers, and maybe they destroy their properties, they arrest them. In the evening, Sakaja is organizing some PR meetings and giving them 10K each. So they are just doing all these things to score some political goals, nothing else. So the moment we'll get somebody who is not a politician as a governor in Nairobi, that is when we'll see some changes. Badi did his part. And those people, I myself, I voted for Polycarp Igathe because when I looked at the gentleman, he wasn't a politician, and he actually lost it because he was not a politician. He would have done something different. You know, politicians will always want to be popular, to be seen working, but they'll not do things for prosperity. Go to Kisumu. Anyang' Nyong'o have really tried his best, but what he's doing might not be seen today. But those people who will come after him will have to appreciate some of the plans that he put in place and some of the projects that he did. People who will be able to continue with it. But if you look at it in the eyes of populist politics, you'll say that he's not doing anything because these guys wanataka ule mtu ataenda kama umefiwa ndio huyo ametoa sijui ambulance. Mtu ni governor anasema amekulipia bili ya hospitali na hospitali yenyewe ni ya county government. So it doesn't make sense.
You see, now that is the issue here. This is the issue which I'm having an issue here. In fact, Nairobi, we should have a benevolent dictator. We remove this Dimpo guy. We remove all these MCAs. Let me tell you, Leo, the worst part about these MCAs, they're the ones who are dragging the operations of Nairobi. Now,
Do you know
I can give you an example.
Nairobi inaweza kuwa run vizuri sana na Sifuna ama Wanyonyi. Hawa tunaona ni watu at least Sifuna ama huyu pia Westlands.
We need a benevolent dictator mwenye atachukua kifagio afagie au city fathers, yani city council yote ifagiliwe. They would rather even outsource some stuff outside, wafanye kazi, then they are paid. At least the contract when it is there, kuna kuanga na performance review. But now that right now ukienda, during Sonko's time, he cleaned up nini Kanjo. But the thing is with Sonko na kitu moja, he wanted to play populism. Niko na Sonko rescue team, nimekea watu nini term sheets kwa nini, nimekuja mapema nataka kuangalia watu wamechelewa. I'm saying what I'm saying. If we need someone kama nani badi atoe hao watu wote, yeye ndo atakuwa akifanyanga checks and balances. Aseme these like he gets some outsourcing firms ya kuchukua takataka. Aseme contractor 1, contractor 2, contractor 3 nimewatuma Dagoretti South, endeni mwokote hivyo. Then atoke hapo akuja aangalie each and every estate kuko na street lights zinafanya, watu wa viosk masilahi yao inaangaliwa, do they pay that nini the monthly levy. Then he goes to hospitals like Mama Lucy, like Pumwani, like nini, yani kusanitize at least. Even hata wewe ukiingia hospitali usianza kusema I need to go to a private hospital. You'll be proud even walking to Kenyatta and you see a doctor na kutreat and you go home. But now the problem is with Sakaja, he wants to play dimples and he wants to play that he's feeding the children of Nairobi with 5 shillings whatever. Hiyo ni publicity. Who told you lazima upublicize watoto atijua wanashiba? We need a benevolent whatever.
Even that 5 shillings. You know what those guys eat? Let me ask you. Do you know if you have like a group of 100 kids, 5 shillings is enough if they contribute each, is more than enough to feed them, because the more you buy food in bulk, the less they are going to spend it. So that 5 shillings, I'm trying to... Yeah.
Remember, nani walitoa ile nini free primary, si ndio? Each parent is supposed to pay, I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 whatever. 50 shillings ya hao watoto wote wa Nairobi. Remember, there are streams in classes, si ndio? It is enough money to feed those kids for that term. Unajua hiyo term. So Sakaja anajaribu kutengeneza like he's the deputy Jesus of these kids. He fed them with 2 fish na wakapatiwa nini mkate. It is not supposed to be like that. He should come and bring an example in these schools. Hajai ongeza streams za hizi shule. Kama ukienda Nairobi Primary standard 4, there are still 4 streams. Hakuna hata block ameongeza. Ukienda hizi mashule zingine
Stella is right, because hata nyakati ya Kibaki kulikuwa na chakula kwa all primaries, na haikukuwa inaangaliwa sijui na governor ama nani. Ilikuwa inakuwa managed na shule na government. Sakaja anafaa kuacha tu mambo ya feeding iende tu government na shule. Sakaja anafaa kuleta maendeleo. Saizi mtoto ataenda kukula chakula, avuke mtu ndiye akufe juu Sakaja ameka chakula kwa shule. So mtoto anaamka asubuhi anasema anaambiwa usiende shule, anasema mama, Sakaja ameka chakula, lazima atabebwa na boat ama na maji akakule chakula akufe. Unajua kuna vitu ambaye unakaa chini unaangalia, nani ana advice governor? Mtoto wangu anamwambia usiende. Nimetoka asubuhi nimesema msiende. Mtoto wangu naye anapiga hapa nyumba ni kama kuna njaa, ana sneak nyuma yangu, anaenda anapebwa na mto, anaenda kukufa kwa sababu chakula ya governor. Tungekunywa hata uji hapa na angekuwa hai. Tufikirie Kibaki alikuwa na manage chakula feeding program vizuri sana, na ile shule ilikuwa ni free education.
Wow. Hiyo ina nice leo vipi?
Kuna saa ya kutap governor. Is that bad? I am saying it even become even worse right now. Sakaja hata hajawahi enda Mama Lucy kwenda kuangalia what is happening with those dead babies to date. Mochari enye ilikuwa nini inaita kwaje Pumwani. Ni ile tu mochari moja tu imewekwa watoto carton. So you ask yourself, where do we pay this money to the county, and yet we are not seeing anything. Gekomba, he said that he's going to improve Gekomba. Nothing as Gekomba, hakuna kitu imefanywa. Toy market, hakuna kitu imefanywa. Mlango soko, hakuna kitu imefanywa. So mpaka unajiuliza, ando wenye walikuwa nasema ati 1 man 1 shilling, wakakuja wakasema hapana, juu Nairobi sijui ni metropolitan, sijui nini, wape nini 150 billion. I will never forget the time kulikuwa na ile climate summit. This guy used almost 50 billion for nonsense. And yet hiyo pesa ilikuwa imecontributiwa na watu wa nini wa whatever climate, these people of the climate. Then Sakaja says that there is no money in the county. They could have not afford ku nini inaitagwaje ku make organization. It was a total mess. If anyone who attended the climate summit. So you see, there is a lot of misuse of fund. But now here is the problem with us Kenyans. Wakati ikifika 2025, ni 2026, okay, let's assume 2025. God forbid, Ruto, maybe UDA jikate mara 3 mara 4, kila mtu akona party. They'll start blame game again. Huyu alikuwa hata akikuja mafuta ingekuwa 140, sasa unaona ilikuwa 200. Unaona hiyo blame game. Alafu tujipate tena tumewarudisha. This is the problem with Kenyans. Leave these leaders alone, but give them time. But now the problem is, hii pesa yote ikipotea, how are we going to account?
I just need to talk to 4 people. I just need to talk to 4 people. Na hawa watu waine ndio wali mess this election ya 2022. Hawa watu waine ni mama mboga. Nilikuja kugundua mama mboga, regardless alikuwa mfupi, mweupe, mweusi, mzungu, alipigia serikali. Mtu wa bodaboda. Yes. Mama mboga alipiga hiyo kura akijua atakuwa anakata mboga State House. Alisahau sisi ndo tunakula hiyo mboga kwa hizi estate zetu. Number 2, mtu wa bodaboda alijua atafanya delivery kwa Ruto State House. Mtu wa bodaboda pia ni temu. Number 3, Chebukati. Naomba the next Chebukati, the next chairman wa IBC mwenye ataingia hapo come 2027 afikirie vizuri. Number 4, watu walikasirikia Uhuru, watu wa Mount Kenya hapa. Only those 4 people walitumess.
What kaishe? Mount Kenya, I'll blame them because they are the ones walisema tupige miti. And walijikuja wakajikusana wakasema wacha tutafute miti tutoe huyu. I know why they did that. I don't want to speak about it. But what I'm trying to say is like this. This president, he's not a professional. Okay, fine. Maybe that time wakati walikuwa na Uhuru the Hague when they were coming for the 2013 Zuraku election, this guy was a good strategist. But Uhuru is a spoiled brat. Had the money. Akamwambia wewe strategize nitakupea pesa. Wakatengeneza wakashinda. Now where it became the lovers, the jilted lover, ilikuwa 2017 ndio wakakuja na handshake. Then the jilted whatever, it became bitter and bitter, then they had a bitter divorce. Okay? Now, here is the issue. Ruto akakuja na story ya kusema hustler fund. What did he do? Alijua kwenye nitapata kura ni wapi? Nitatoa kura kwa nini? Kwa vijana, mama mboga, watu wa upa. Nani mwingine? Watu wa hustler ni wengi sana.
Boda mama mboga na Mount Kenya. Yake alishawekwa. Ya rifani ilishawekwa. Ya rifani ilikuwa ndani.
It's very sharp. Alijua kwenye pesa inatoka. Pesa kutoka chini. Si ndio? Now he came and told people, wacha niwaambie, I'll make this government, you people, you never suffer. So, hiyo language alitumia, watu wakasema, wacha tufanye nini? tumsupport juu ako na point poa sana. And I think when he won people's heart is during the time of BBI. So what happens when it
hapo
comes
ndio
to
hapo ndio problem ilitokea. Na how I wish Kenyans wangeona baba yake mwenye alimfunza siasa ni Moi. Moi alirefuse kumuona. Alingoja for more than 4 to 5 hours. Hapo ndio Wakenya wangesema, hey, how comes mimi Jex ameniweka hivi lakini sasa hii Jex hataki kuniona. Hapo ndio watu wanafaa kujiuliza there's a problem. Na hapo watu wakuona. So sasa hii ndio hii problem.
Sasa what happened? He came with a very sweet deal. Yet this guy, he never did his homework for government. Now, I think there's a place where there is some background noise.
Jax, I think it is from your end. Okay, he is muted now. You can proceed.
Oh, okay. So you see, now here is the issue. Now, Ruto came with in a way like akakuja akashikana na watu wa civil society, akashikana na watu wa Kenya Association of Manufacturers, akashikana na watu wa wanaitangwaje, wakashikana na these stakeholders, wakashikana na farmers. Now the mistake what Ruto did, he took Gachagua, and that was the biggest mistake. Angechukua mtu mwingine ahead, lakini si Gachagua. Gachagua is very smart. Remember, this guy is a cartel. He's a cartel. Kama huyu mtu he can destroy a macadamia farm. Yeah, Pius Ngugi. I believe everyone knows Pius Ngugi. Namjua. This guy was a billionaire. Right now he's rotting as a pauper. Ameanza kuuza mashamba zake za macadamia. Watu wa nini wanaitangwaje? Watu wanaitangwaje? Watu wanauzaga avocado. Watu wanauza, I mean they export avocado. That project iliachishwa. Then this guy akakuja kadanganya watu, ninajua macartels wenye wako kwa coffee industry. When we did our homework, some people we did, the companies which we saw through the CR12, which Cecily Mbarila was talking about, imagine Gachagua was holding almost like 30%. So that means Gachagua amejificha katikati ya coffee organization wa auction na nini na nini. Let me tell you, during Uhuru's time, gorogoro ya kasuku ya coffee, a farmer was getting it at 120 shillings. Right now, it has gone down to 52 bob. Juzi ilikuwa ngapi? 23 shillings. Juu alikuwa anasema ni juu ya mvua. Right? Nikiangalia kwa global market, the way coffee is being auctioned, ngunia moja ya 90 kg is going almost like 134,000 shillings. So hebu niambie, mtu mwenye akona ngunia 200 zinaenda wapi? And a farmer mwenye ako pale kwa shamba anaumia. Haezi lipa stima, haezi nunua token, haezi nunua mafuta ya taa is more expensive kuliko petroli. So ana expect watu wa survive namna gani? I am telling you, this guy is a cartel. So venye nani alikuwa, someone said here it is a government of shareholders. Now I understand what he was saying, what is shareholders.
But let me ask you, Stella, kwa hii mambo ya coffee na majani chai na maziwa na although I know maziwa inauzwa locally, what I know is that coffee ya Mount Kenya inakuwa exported and this coffee is paid in US dollars. Are farmers paid in dollars or they are paid in Kenyan shilling?
Mangori, ma 5 bob, mashiringi. Hata si noti, mashiringi. Mangori, mashiringi. Yeah.
So then,
let me ask.
Then you need to get it. Sasa hapa ndio makosa iko.
Makosa gani?
They are paid in mashilingi. They are paid in Kenyan
yes.
shilling. I want to give you an example. Last year by August, if I had $1, I would get 119 for maximum of 120 Kenyan shillings. Today, if I have $1, I'll get 155 shillings. So this doesn't mean if a farmer used to sell coffee You used to sell coffee maybe abroad at $1, maybe, let's say an example, $1 per kg. This farmer was supposed to be paid 120, of which alikuwa analipa 120. Then say the price of that coffee, let's assume it has not changed, it is still $1. I don't know if these guys wamewaongezea hizo mashilingi kwa sababu value ya dola imepanda ama au bado wanalipwa to the same amount. So that is the question these farmers should start asking.
Leo, let me tell you, kama wangeongezewa, their life could be better, sindio? But now the problem is, in the coffee industry and the tea industry, there are people called middlemen. Remember, middlemen atakuja anue lesser, aende escalate ambaka aende to the final guy mwenye ataenda kupeleka hiyo coffee ikaushwe. So once coffee ishakaushwa, ipelekwa mpaka Mombasa, hapo ndio wanapigia nyundo. Sasa the farmer end of the day anaenda na 200 shillings ama 400 shillings kwa gogoro ine enye ameuza at 23 shillings. Hiyo ni pesa ngapi? It cannot even buy you a meal in the house. I am telling you, even guys at the Mount Kenya, they are really missing Uhuru. Fine, they were saying that he was a spoiled brat, but he understood because also the father knew how the coffee was being grown and how it was being maintained, how it was being auctioned, nini. They were getting at least some decency, some life decency, hata kwa hiyo gogoro wakienda kuvuna. Right now venye nani yuko, naitangwa aje, venye Gachagua huko, they felt like watakata hizo coffee. They would rather even wauze mashamba, watu watengeneza ma apartment, because coffee is not being, you're working so hard on that thing, unaenda unavuna, you get zero profit. Uwezi pereka nayo mtoto shule, uwezi nunua token, uwezi nunua mafuta ya taa. What is the use of having that coffee? So now even the investor right now, Leo, even I can tell you, it is so sad. There guy called Kapochurwa, unawajua, walitoka nini, Nairobi Stock Exchange. You know where they are right now? They are in Ethiopia. They are buying coffee in Ethiopia, wanapitisha Nairobi, igonge nyundo ndio iende Dubai na the other countries. Why are they not buying in the one in whatever? Because farmers are feeling frustrated. Hakuna haja niamke saa 12, natoka kwa shamba saa 10, alafu nitoke kwa mila nimeungua kwa mkono juu nimechagua, alafu I don't get money. Just check the list of NSC. Ebu niambie ni watu wangapi hapo wana deal na coffee? None. Sasini, they are almost getting out of National Stock Exchange because there is no money. End of the day, what are you selling? Kenya Nut Industry, hakuna. Hiyo ndio chai KTDA. There are power struggles between the Mount Kenya people and the Rift Valley people who is supposed to be the MD nini. Chai inaoza. Machai zinaoza huko kwa nini, kwa mafactory. Because hakuna mtu anaweza make decision because of power struggles, because who is supposed to be there? You see, this is all about bad governance. Bad governance.
Okay. Now, I don't know who to ask. I think I should ask Ochuka. Ochuka, this government was very categorical. In fact, I remember Ruto's words during his final speech, I think in the stadium that he was in, alisema that Uhuru, the reason as to why hakutaka kumsupport is because Uhuru feared that atamououtdo. And in fact, alisema his work will be phenomenal. I'll be playing that clip. I think I'll be able to get that clip, specifically that point. He said his work will be phenomenal. His work will be awesome. This farm, is Ruto's work phenomenal?
Iko sawa kabisa, hata wewe unajionea. Let me tell you one thing. Nikiwa na 7, nikiwa na 5 million, nikiwa na 7 million, mtu mwenye alianza kujenga nyumba January ashaingia November, October ndani, na imefanywa finishing na imekuwa polished vizuri. Huyu jamaa ameingia kwa serikali kama Uhuru, hata venye ile pesa alikuwa na collect ilikuwa less. These people collect double. Let me tell you, they collect revenues double. Yote inaenda kwa bado kwa mikono ya mabwenyenye, watu ambao wako na shares. It is true.
Wewe kama uko na housing fund ya 56 billion haijai kwa accounted. na
Yes.
ninakatwa.
Affordable housing ilikuwa ni one of the way. Kupanda miti ilikuwa ni ingine. Hata saizi barabara zile Uhuru aliwacha, hata hakuna hata anything wameweka, hata wameongeza, bado hawana pesa. Uhuru aliacha Kenya kama hakuna pesa, alikula yote. That is what they keep on saying. Yes, they are in power. The president so far, naweza sema ameshatembea kwa sijui how many countries. I can even say like maybe 70, 80 ama 100, akitafuta wawekezaji, akikuja na pesa loan, zinaenda wapi? Utaniambia hizo pesa tunalipa tu wafanyikazi na inaisha hivyo?
Kano, hebu uliza World Bank. Kano, World Bank na IMF hii pesa ni nini imetengeneza? Me, I need to know which road, which school, which bridge, which whatever. Do me have not seen any money for World Bank.
Hii loan tumelipa imefika. Hii loan tumelipa wapi? Loan tumelipa wapi? Tumefika wapi? Na tunaendelea aje? You know, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, unajua saa zingine watu wanasemaga mlevi ako hivi. Before mlevi aende alewe, lazima bibi akule, watoto wakule, nyumba ilipwe, ndio aende alewe. Sasa ndio pombe ingie kwa mwili vizuri. Kama hata watoto hawajakula, haingii. Anachapa na ako tu soba, ako na stress, watu wanalala njaa, itabidi aombe jirani, uko na 500 hapo nitumie watu nyumbani. And that is what Uhuru used to do. Uhuru used to take care of Kenya, and he used to make sure Kenyans don't suffer. He used to make sure time ya COVID tungekuwa na hii serikali, I swear to one God, kila mtu angechukua kamba na ajinyonge. Time ya COVID kuna vitu Uhuru aliweka chini. I could send 1,000 to somebody free of charge. Internet ilikuja cheap, some few things, meals, mafuta alirudisha, unga zilikuwa cheap. The time ya COVID tax alikata katikati from 16 to how many percentage? So kuna vitu ingekuwa hii serikali nyakati ya COVID, I swear to one God, watu wangekuwa wanatembea uchi dunia mzima hapa Kenya.
Kano, ebu sikia. Remember those days of Uhuru, 1,000 shillings would buy you a household for 1 week. Let's be honest with each other. Right now, 1,000 jakes, ayezi hata inanunua tu mafuta na nini, sukari kilo, isha.
Ikibaki change imebaki ya sukari, imebaki ya chumvi, chumvi, majani hatununua.
Unga ya ngano unga ya ugali ni ngapi? Ni 230. Hiyo ni 400 ishaenda. Hata una pesa ya matatu. Now imagine, and they are trying to say that, oh, dollar here, dollar here. I can give you a scenario. There's a time I had a client and I wanted to transfer $1 from my account to his account. Do you know what the bank called me? They told me, oh, we cannot initiate the payment because we are lacking sufficient of dollar. You're asking yourself, how would Kenya reserve inakosa dollars? Inakosa dollars namna gani? And we have a sorry to say, we have a dunderhead, the one who was also a criminal kwa season 1 ya NYS, Dhuge. Then we have the CS Ndongo, this whoever Ndongo, and I'm so surprised that he was also in the government of Kibaki, na yeye ndio alikuwanga central bank, and he cannot explain how the dollar reserve ran dry and people could not even access, especially watu wenye walikuwa na import, they could not get dollars. So there was another time, if you checked last week kwa gazeti, walikuwa wamesema anyone who is being found amehold dollars is going to be to be arrested. Watu waliwaambia kujeni, niko nazo ndio hizi. Ilikuwa kwa nini? Simba whatever. Kujeni ndio hizi. You know now they were ndio hizi dollars, because even me, hata mimi nikipata dollars, I'm telling you I cannot bank it to my bank. Nitajipata niende Isili ama nishikane na Mohammed. Nimwambie enda Garissa huko Somaliland, alafu ananiwekea hizo dollars, because nikiweka dollar kwa bank inamezwa. Right now, if I'm charging a client, I have to charge a client with $1. Then I make sure that dollar does not touch my Kenya shillings account, or it doesn't touch my dollar in Kenya. Lazima iende Uganda. inaenda UBA ya Uganda huko, or you open a Zenith Bank, an intermediary bank in Nigeria, iende huko, because anytime you try to put money, KRA is always inakuangalia hivi na macho. Huyo ameweka dola, ina meza, anaweka dola, ina meza. I'm telling you, it is so bad. Uhuru at least
now I've been able to get the clip I was talking about. And not that I'm taking you back and forth, but listen to this.
By the way, check. Mzalendo ako happy. Ako happy Mzalendo.
Mzalendo ako backstage, Georgia namuingisha tu saizi. But let me play this now.
Hey, nakwambia niko na grudge na yeye. We atatuambia kwenye pesa zetu ziko.
Now, Danny, Mr. Ochuka, these were his words to Uhuru Kenyatta, the final day of submissions. Listen to
I want to tell my brother President Uhuru Kenyatta, my good brother, we work together. We achieved much together. But as fate would have it, you chose a different path. And I wish you well as you go to retirement. I am very confident that this country will move forward. I am very confident that you know my capacity. I do not want you to fear. You have nothing to fear, because I will respect the foundation you built. I will respect the things we did together, but I will build on that foundation. And my friend, it is going to be phenomenal. I know you know that it is going to be phenomenal.
Wow. I know you know that is going to be phenomenal. Is it?
Let me tell you. When you want a lady, you can even lie you have a car. Yet you don't have a car. It's your friend's car. A vehicle, sorry. Sasa,
so that's what you guys do to our sisters out here, eh? Okay.
This is the reality, because hii ndio ametufanyia. Sisi tulikuwa warembo, yeye ndiye alikuwa mwanaume. Wakenya walikuwa warembo.
Sasa hii tumeparara, Jake. Nikucheka unacheka, tumeparara. Unasikia mpaka KRA. Let me tell you, KRA was in collection, so they were unable to explain how they could not.
Why is there so much echo?
Sorry?
I think it's on your end, Jake.
Niko wako, Jake.
Really?
Unatusikia?
And now?
Sasa hii tunakusikia.
So, nilikuwa nasema so sahi inaonekana tushapata mimba, tushazaa. Sasa sisi tuko tu kwa nyumba, tumewekwa. Sasa hakuna kitu. Mzee anaenda nje.
Gavani deadbeat. Hey, Mzalendo. Ngoja usikie kile nitamuuliza. Mzalendo, pesa ziko wapi za housing fund? Mzalendo, ziko wapi nyumba? Tunangojea nyumba za kuingia.
This is the happiest Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Wapi bana?
Tuko Nairobi hapa tunafurishwa na El Nino. Mzalendo. Wapi nyumba? Wapi pesa ya housing fund? Hebu tuambie 66 billion.
Bana, mimi pesa housing, mimi sikia housing iko wapi bana?
Umeanza kuturuka.
Kina Konani sasa wanaroga Ruto mpaka Ruto.
Wewe ndio ulikuwa atupigia tarumbeta. Kateni tax. Lazima ulipe ushuru. You see, when you pay your ushuru.
Mzalendo, hata before nikusalimie, hii ndio serikali ilipigia debe kuliko kila kitu ya maisha yako yote. Brother, mwenye nakujua ulisema itakuwa fantastic. You used to tell me, believe me.
You guys are running too fast. You're running too fast for this government. I don't know what you want. Munakimbiza hii serikali ya Ruto mbio. Yani, hata kama ni wewe.
Mike ya mtu hapa si poa. Inaleta noise. Mike ya mtu hapa si. Mike ya mtu.
Ni mike yangu ama ni ya nani? Si yangu. Ni Jake. Hata nani Mike bwana Jake? Nani Mike yake ni mbaya? Kuni zime yangu. Si yangu, si ndio?
Yangu. Si yangu.
And it's not mine.
Ebu chuka ongea.
Sasa unanisikia sasa?
Tunakusikia.
Ama ina make noise? Nitoke nirudi.
You're clear.
Ya mtu.
Hello.
Kano.
Yes.
Leo.
Now you're
Kano. Ni leo. Ebu.
Bado
Mike. Leo tusaidie hapo. Mike ya nani iko na echo. Leo Zoom Mike iko na echo. Leo, can you help us? Now I can see Leo on the bar.
Hello, somebody's mic is having echo. Is it Mzalendo's mic or who? Mzalendo, is it yours?
Mine iko sawa.
Just ensure you. I think it is Mzalendo. Ensure you mute those that next to you.
Ama amefungua screen mbili. Funga screen moja.
Oh, Stella, maybe you are listening to. Yeah, kuna somebody amefungua screen mbili mahali. You can check on that. Otherwise, Mzalendo, good to see you. We started by congratulating those who finished the KCPE, and that is the end of 844. And we are now ushering in the CBC, which is going to take like the 26333 format. So at least we who did KCPE, pia tutapata wale watu tutakuwa tunajigamba tukiwaambia nyinyi mnajua 844 kweli. So at least I'm glad I'll be telling people nyinyi hamjui 844, nyinyi hamjui KCPE, the way those guys who did CPE and O level and whatever used to tell us. And the performance was really great. And we also congratulating Raila's diehard called Nuru Okanga. I know Mzalendo, that is your friend, or you. I beg you to reserve your comment on that because I know it won't be pleasing. He also managed to do his KCP. Next, we know he's going to do the KCSE, and maybe shall he get to be an MCA or an MP back in his place. We will not be using the words we've been using to describe the people like Sudis, who despite having free primary education, did not find it well to go back and sit for these papers. Instead, they went and took.
I'm glad you've been knocked out by internet because you are lying to us. I'm very, very glad. You know, internet could not even wait for a minute.
Your connection is
urudi tafadhali, urudi. Niko na maswali mingi.
Tuuliza Mzalendo.
Ni Mzalendo anasumbua na nini yake.
Yeye ndiye alikuwa anasema housing fund by fire by force. Tuambie kwenye hiyo 56 billion iko. Haipatikani, Haipatikani.
Alitetea serikali. Ungejua
how many houses have been built from that fund. Lakini hakuna.
Tuambie ni gani? Tuambie ni gani? Nitaenda kuangalia kesho na nipige picha. Ni gani hiyo nyumba zimetengenezwa? Gani?
Na ziko wapi?
So inaita kwaje? Tumerambwa ama imekituramba?
Jamaa, mama boda.
On 7th December kuna public participation ya kuzuia ID isipande juu na bei ya birth certificate na bei ni gani zingine zilikuwa zimeongezwa. In fact, we should tell akina
passport marriage.
Actually, this is what happened, and it is so ironical. The president anawaambia na watafutia kazi jamani.
Alafu niende
Unajaribu kutoka tena rudi.
Lipe 1 million.
Imerudi na kelele.
Stella, angalia kama kuna gadget umefungua.
Ni am okay.
Stella, toka urudi, kama kuna shida tena nitoke tena mimi nirudi tuone. Mzalendo. Hii serikali ulitetea bado ukasema ita. I think Stella alikuwa na issue.
It's okay now. Me, I'm okay.
Stella, it is your end, so you can maybe log out and log in.
We are good.
Your end.
We are good now.
No, I don't think so. Okay.
Are you back now? Uko sawa sasa.
Aya. Leo ulikuwa umelogiwa out tu ukitudanganya hapa juu ya.
Yes, Mzalendo, proceed.
Thank you Leo. Nice to see Colonel Ochuka. Unajua kila saa unatuchambulia hapa. Na Stella ule, wacha Stella rudi nimsalimie. But nice to see you, Jex. Semeni bwana, mumeanza na story ya KCPE.
Tuko bwana. Unajua saizi Kenya ukiwa na 1000 ni kama uko na $1. Na bado hujaivunja.
Bana yenyewe, lakini nashukuru nani amemaliza exam yake, Nuru Okanga.
Tumemcongratulate
tayari. Nuru amemaliza exam. At least yeye anajua kucount 1 mpaka 1 million. I hope anajua kucount. Ile budget anaenda kusimamia ni budget ya county ya 200 million. So leo mko na kazi hapo ODM. Unajua leaders tunaletea wajui kuhesabu.
Tutaangalia maneno because we don't want to choose leaders that because uko famous kwa kutukana Ruto tutakupea then uingie pale ukue shocked. Uweze taita Mr. Speaker saa, uweze ita Madam Speaker. Pia lazima tuangalie election ya 2027.
Yeah, sometimes it is good for somebody to be elected who can draft a bill at the county assembly. Yes. You know, it is degenerating.
Lakini Mzalendo, you can imagine people who are they know someone who I think I should look for that clip. Yeah, Senator Waembu. He's the man of the
watu wakati mara mbili waende Haiti.
Yes,
watu wa Mzalendo.
Senator Waembu. Leo, do you have that clip?
Angalia huo Senator Waembu. You know, it is very, very sad. We need debaters in the assembly. Ukileta mtu kama Stella kwa assembly, you know you get value in a debate.
Okay.
Lakini sasa
hebu nikuulize
huyo Senator wenyu wa Embu, I did some background check.
Senator wetu wa nani? Unajua kila saa mnanipatia
wewe mtu unaona tumevaa shati yenu. Mzalendo umekuja. Mzalendo umekuja kama una represent bana. Wacha hujavaa orange hivi yenu.
Wacha ni represent hiyo pande unataka ni represent. Wacha ni wa represent vizuri. Si mnaniambia ati nini? Wacha tuanze leo kwa sababu hiyo Stella anakuja hapa na nishambulie na uongoza Ruto. Sasa
wewe
Ochuka, tuambie ukweli ya Azimio. Ukweli number 1, tuambie ya Azimio.
Tuko tunakula, tunaamka, tunaoga, hatuna shida, hatuombi.
Hebu mwambie ni sisi tuna advise nani Kenya kuisha.
Hatuombi. Yes, biashara zetu zinaendelea vizuri, zenyu mmefunga. Yes. Biashara zetu mmefunga. Watu wanalia huko Bomet, watu wanalia sijui wapi.
Tulienda kupanda na gambu.
Lakini sasa si hao ni Wakenya kama nyinyi tu wanalia.
Wakenya gani? Hakuna Ukenya huku.
Nyinyi si Wakenya.
Voti inaandika jina yangu mbali.
Nyinyi mnatoka nchi gani?
Walisema baba ni mganga, baba julikani na Mungu. Huko akasema baba kuna nini?
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuwa.
Lakini Mungu ni nani?
Mungu ni nani?
Mlisema hakutakuwa na El Nino ama mtakuwa na El Nino. Hii clip ya El Nino hebu icheze tena, because nimesikia watu wakiongea sana juu Ruto aliwadanganya kutakuwa na El Nino ama hakutakuwa na El Nino. I really don't know what
is unaibika.
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko. Wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa, lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu jameni?
Sasa hebu angalieni vile Azimio wao tudanganya. Leo ndio nimesikia hii kitu vizuri. Ruto amesema vizuri sana. The weatherman predicted that kutakuwa na El Nino. Then he later on came back to say that the weatherman said that El Nino will not be there, but there will be heavy rainfalls. Aren't we seeing heavy rainfalls?
Ni kazi yake. Ni kazi ya Ruto. Ni kazi ya Ruto. Kitambo news ilikuwa inatuletea weather. Ni kazi ya Ruto. Ruto anafaa kumind biashara yake. Ni kazi yake. Yeye ndio siku hizi anasoma weather broadcast.
Hiyo ndio ilikuwa ni habari. Habari ilikuwa ni Ruto anasoma weather.
Kano, wacha nikwambie, mzalendo amefurahi kwa sababu ni mvua kubwa. Sasa atakuja kutuambia mahindi itakuwa na fertilizer subsidy.
Hebu tuambie Stella, bei ya mahindi huko kwenyu ni pesa ngapi? Tuambie bei ni ngapi?
Unga bado ni 230. Ulidanganya ni 150.
Unajua mzalendo ananipaga watu kwa ground, anapewa wrong information.
Sasa
leo Kenya tunaenda.
Ati unga ni 230, wacha uongo bwana.
Ni 230.
Salala. Hata fertilizer ni 20,000 a bag.
Fertilizer ilikuwa ni free, mlipewa donation, nyinyi mnauza. Fertilizer mlipewa for free, mpewa Kenya wajisaidie nayo. Nyinyi naye mnakuja kutuuzia.
Nani anaitwa aje? Si nani alikuwa anasema ati ilikuwa ya sample?
Sifuna. Yes.
Si Sifuna, ule mwingine mwenda wazimu wa nini Kisii.
Unajua nyinyi, wacha tu niseme kitu moja. Nyinyi acha tu niseme kabla uendelee. Nyinyi watu wa Azimio tumezoea kuwa mnasikiza wazimu wengi. Wazimu wa kwanza ule mnamsikia ni Maina Wanjigi, ule alituambia ako na sword kwa nyumba yake. Unajua anaitwa akona Maina Wanjigi alisema akona sword kwa nyumba yake atapatia Raila. Yeye ndio custodian wa sword. Na tukaamini, Maina mpaka nyumba yake kavunjwa, sword inatafutwa, ama ilikuwa nini? Nani huyo? Si ilikuwa ni Wanjigi?
Hiyo ilikuwa tu side show tu ya ku divert story ya
attention.
So every place kwenye kuna kuanga na side show ya story, especially ya huyu Anjeri mwenye anasema alinyang'anywa 17 billion worth of
na 17 billion imekuwa withdrawn kwa treasury. 17 billion imekuwa withdrawn kwa treasury.
Nikuulize Cornelia, sasa tu nikuulize tu swali tu ya ujinga. Serikali, hebu niwaulize, huyu Njeri, kama hii ni biashara ya serikali wameiba pesa yao, wametoa pesa yao kwa treasury, wakaagiza mafuta using a proxy. then serikali yenyewe meli ina dock kwa pahali wana control au wenyewe serikali ile liba pesa tena, au kama wana detain hii meli, na hiyo ndio serikali.
Hii meli wajadetain hii meli, walishanyonya hiyo mafuta
cartels
already.
wawili. Hiyo meli ilikuwa na cartels wawili. Okay? So there was a cartel who was in the side of Chirchir. Then there was a cartel who was in the side of the government of number 1. Now the conflict
Oscar
of
Sudi.
Yeah?
Oscar Sudi's name was there.
Ushasema. Sasa
Sasa Oscar Sudi,
the lady mzalendo si mimi.
Semeni ukweli, biashara ya mafuta ni nani wanafanya Kenya? Biashara ya mafuta ni nani wanafanya Kenya? Nani hakuna license ya kuleta mafuta Kenya?
Uhuru, sema ni Uhuru tufurahie.
Angalia sana jua watu wanaleta mafuta Kenya, na wanajua vizuri sana. Hiyo ati unadanganywa hapa. Ni Uhuru ndio analeta mafuta.
Mzalendo anataka tu mtie Raila na Uhuru. So
one person at
Uhuru
a
anaenda.
Mzalendo, there is a big difference between hustlers' money and dynasties. The billionaire is small shillings. Tycoon money is a lot. Uhuru has no interest. This is a conflict of interest of a cartel and a government. And that's why the Chirchir was used to ajaribu to confuse the government so that EPRA isiongeze mafuta. And that's why they try to make a diversion kwa sababu yale alijicontradict akasema mafuta Kenya itakuwa 300. Is it true canon? Alafu then the Twitter Kenya on Twitter they were very furious because nani alikuwa anasema mafuta itapanda juu ya Hamas and which war? Hamas and who war? Israeli war. Watu wakauliza aje hiyo mafuta enye inatoka inapitia wapi?
Na other countries wanaloa zao.
I did with you about sijui Ukraine war. Hakuna mafuta inapita huko.
Anyway, ile kitu iko
to make money. It is a juggle to make money. Remember, kuna watu wawili, kuna watu 4 people are eating. Kuna wa 50 cents, kuna wa shilingi 10, wa 50 bob na kuna wa dhao. So Anjeri was a scapegoat. So they had to use a middleman, especially a Kikuyu, so to divert attention. Isionekane ni Mkale peke yake ameleta mafuta.
Alikuwa Anjeri was someone na kukuja alisema yeye ni mgonjwa. Who does that? Tuma hata lawyer.
Yes.
Tuma lawyer.
No, she could not. Now who's going to pay that lawyer? If the government cannot even pay you, ukienda kusupply printing papers ama bairo, who are not going to pay for you?
Wacheni niwaambie, nyinyi ni Wakenya kama Anjeri.
Tunakujua ni Wakenya kuisha.
Wewe Stella, wewe pia unaweza tumika tu kama Anjeri.
Nani?
Kwa sababu mimi nimekuambia biashara ya mafuta Kenya hii, the main stakeholders wale wanaleta biashara mafuta, wale marketers na wale wanamiliki makampuni warabuni, wale ni familia mbili tu. Ni familia mbili tu peke yake ndio wakona zile kubwa kabisa. Tukiendelea tutawaambia tu ni maonani. Ni familia mbili tu ndio wanaletaga mafuta. Haya. Tunaendelea bado, wacha tuendelee na conversation.
Mimi na wewe hapa.
Nitakuambia
unataka niseme sitasema.
Ya interest ya watu zile wa politicians wale wana interest na biashara ya mafuta. Yes. Na pia ndawauliza tu, mbona hujawahi ona advertisement yoyote ya tenda ya kuleta mafuta ya serikali gazetini? Tumeona wapi? Toa moja.
Listen to me. There are this guy called Oil Libya. They have a name. Wanaitangwa aje? I think ni wale wa kitambo. Those are, I think there are 5 marketing oil companies. I think ya mwisho ni walipewa ni Gulf Energy, and it has Keraito's niece and he has another guy who is I think a Kikuyu. I'll check the whatever. But let me tell you, mzalendo, hii story ya nani ya na mafuta yake kushikwa na venye alikuwa anasema hiyo 17 billion. Let me shock you. Governor Ndongo, that Professor Ndongo, had withdrawn 13 billion in July. So that means hiyo mafuta ilikuwa kwa pipeline. Ikiingia kwa ship ikikuja. Sasa problem ilianza wakati hiyo mafuta isha dock from the high seas. So watu wa EPRA wakasema, tusibuze hii mafuta iko na mwenyewe. Because remember, other nini metric tons ya mafuta zilikuwa zimetolewa. Why diesel peke yake? Ask yourself. You see, that is a thing enye mi usemanga inaitwa money heist. Hiyo ni money heist. So that means Ann and the Oscar Sudi, it was a business gone wrong. Then Churchill aliingilia to cool off the temperatures, though the Kenyan does not go in panic juu mafuta itapanda. Because si tunajua kila tarehe 15 kila mtu shikilia matumbo. Ni ukweli Colonel? So
ni ukweli.
Yes. So mzalendo, this is a business deal gone wrong. And that thing iko na politicians watatu. So they used Ann as a scapegoat, not a proxy. Because we know who is the proxy in between. We know who is the proxy. So that means hii mafuta enye Ann anaongea, alafu nani wanasema ati ni Galana. Galana, yes, it's the proxy. But the thing is, why did Galana not talk? Because they know if they had spoken, nini zao zingekuwa zimeshafungwa. Zenetagwaje hizi petrol station ama wangenyimwa mafuta. So they just used their name just to cover us. So let me tell you, the Game of Thrones ya Kenya ya mafuta, it is not easy. It is not easy. I'm telling you. Sasa Anna alikuwa anatakiwa kusamoniwa kwa committee. She never turned up. Why? Because she was threatened. Because she could have spilled the beans na aseme. Now, whoever Okiya Mutata alikuja akatoa list venye hiyo pesa ilikuwa withdrawn from July. Si ati hiyo siku ati Anna alikuwa analilia. Hiyo game ilianzaga sometime in March. Then how would the governor withdraw pesa without the knowledge ya parliament kujua? 13 billion, that is not small money. It is not small money.
Na tell mzalendo before Raila kuje aite conference aongee mambo na hii mafuta about this lady, akasema angalia sura yake anakaa hiyo pesa, there are people behind. Alishafanya uchunguzi. Raila is somebody who akuji tu kusoma, anasema chunguza, niletee report. Akiletea report anaambiwa boss, this is it. So don't ever think Raila ikisoma kwa TV ni wazimu. That is what I was saying ni mganga, because anapata siri ambaye amujui yako nayo. Alijua aje treasury ili withdraw 17 billion ikaweka kwa private account.
In July,
yes, alijua aje.
Then in
na tena Raila mwenyewe akajua aje, alisema this woman is being used. This woman kuna watu wako nyuma yake, si yeye.
Alafu
unajua so mzalendo, sisi tunaongea, sisi tunafuata venye nchi inaenda. Na pia sisi
unajua ningekuambia unajua ile kitu ile shida yenu ni you read politics in everything.
Politics
yeah, the problem is that you read politics in everything, even in somebody who is even in corruption you are reading politics.
But corruption is politics.
Even in theft you are reading
politics. That's a common denominator hapa.
Yeah, but now let me just finish my thought so that you can talk. Unajua ukiongea na nikiongea tutasikizana. Itakuwa ni shouting match. Nyinyi watu wazimio tupatie nafasi kidogo.
Ni sawa tu, mmepewa the floor.
Ile kitu iko ni unaona Kenyan oil companies, the oil companies have been kicked out from East Africa. Uganda started kicking them out. They were not kicking the government of Kenya. They are kicking corrupt individuals in the oil marketing business. Those are the individuals being kicked out. It is like you and Stella going to the Middle East, bringing oil in the country and selling it to the government at the highest price so that you make profit out of it. Now, the government cannot regulate how you are going to sell them your product. Yeah, wewe ndio and that is why sometimes unaona kuna shortage ya mafuta, because these oil marketers collude and hoard petroleum, so that when they know there's a subsidies coming, they hoard their petroleum so that the government pays them upfront. That is the reason why there is a lot of jittery in the business. Now, who are in the business in the oil market industry? Now, Raila Odinga is in the business of, he has his company called B Energy. B Energy is actually in the business. Is it doing legal business? Yes, it is probably doing legal business with the Kenyan government. And that is why, and Uhuru Kenyatta is in the business. He is in the business through proxies. He's probably doing these proxies are doing business, legal business through through his influence with the government. Do you ever see advertisements of oil products in the Gazette? No. These are deals that are cut in State House, the government to government. And who is supplying? Go and find out who is fueling aeroplanes that are coming in, KLM, Air France, Kenya Airways at JKIA. You will know the truth about the monopoly of politicians doing government with the same government, the same government they are in. So politicians are in this business. But what is this government doing? This government, hiyo mafuta ya ililetwa na huyu anaitwa Njeri. Njeri was a proxy, but not really, not your usual proxy. He has been used by politicians before. Before you get into that kind of business, is that ashatumika mahali. Njeri herself is mentioned that alikuwa housemaid ya Kasha ama alikuwa housemaid ya nani? This drug baron alikuwa house help ya Kasha. I saw that in the newspapers today that alikuwa house help ya Kasha, the drug baron. Mimi, I am giving you information. I always give you information that you don't have.
I can pull it now here.
Did you know that she's a Form 1 dropout?
It doesn't matter from one standard.
No, so you see, me, I dig deep to find out who she is. You just come here, tell us, oh, it's what. Me, I dig deep to find out who are these people being implicated, and why is the government? Do you even know how much a ship ikiland pale kwa dock inalipa serikali ya Kenya, and why they would want it? How much do they pay per day? Do you know how much they pay per day?
We know the
100 million.
We know the parking and what. But
yeah, so 100 million, which serikali gani itataka hiyo pesa? Ni serikali gani itataka meli that has brought in if the government really wanted to make money out of this ship, they would have let it stay there for a month. Now watengeneze 1 billion out of it.
Alafu, what happens
without even taking the fuel.
Kuja kuleta mchele na mahindi zikae huko ndio alafu tukule nini chakula iko na aflatoxin. Huko ni parking. Sikiza mzalendo,
parking fees inaenda kwa serikali.
Uko ya Kenya Kwanza ama kwa Azimio? Mimi niko Azimio nikwambia
mimi I represent the middle ground where you are lying tunakwambia unadanganya. Where the government is right, nakwambia the government is right.
Ama uko Azimio.
Okay. Enough.
Na mimi nikwambia venye ilifanyika history ya mafuta. You cannot say Anjeri she was a proxy. Okay. The proxy was Galana. Anjeri was just an underdog, like season 1 of NYS. Okay. Unaelewa?
So she was just used there to cover up someone.
Gala, hii mafuta imeletwa na watu wengi. Hii mafuta ikuletwa na mtu mmoja. Imeletwa na watu wengi. Imeletwa na watu wengi. That's why everybody is claiming a share of that mafuta. Who could pull up 17 billion? Nani angeleta 17 billion?
That was diesel alone. It was not fuel, it was diesel alone. Listen.
Yes, diesel alone. Who can pull 17 billion alone?
But it is there. Kwani mafuta kwani walinunua?
Nani anaweza pull 17 billion Kenya shillings ya kuleta mafuta peke yake?
But tumejaribu kukuelezea hapa tukio na Cornelius that hiyo pesa
habari ya jioni
ilitolewa.
Mzuri sana Ben. Sela sawa, utatuambia. Wacha Ben aongee.
Sikia.
Wacha niongee kidogo. Mama umeongea for 3 hours. Hujazoea.
Sela, please. Ngoja kidogo.
Huwezi kutoka, you have been talking for the last 3 hours. Asante sana mama. Lakini hiyo benevolent dictatorship Nairobi itakuwa mbaya sana. Wacha to improve from the last constitution ambayo tulichenga. Let us get somebody newer and better. Maybe Bonyonyi atakuwa mzuri, anybody, and we can improve Nairobi to where it was. And a long time ago, the first mayor was Kenyatta's sister. Her name was Margaret. She did a very wonderful job. So yangu ni kusema tu ya kwamba mzalendo uimoreo wadwa uyaore. Hiyo ndio mzuri ya kuonana.
Uimorea hii nyabwana.
Uimorea dakaden mano berikane.
Kabisa.
Ya mzare James ameleta show mzuri ambayo sisi wengine tutaingia na tuchangie kidogo. Hii mafuta it is a long story. Huyu mama ameleta propaganda ya pesa zilichukuliwa na hii watu ya UDA wanasema when the last government was leaving, it kicked out 200 million to Kenyatta's bank in dollars. So here you are, it will be out. It will be out. Who had this lady bring the gas? And address ya mama Stella. Aiko. There is no address about any TV imefanya uchunguzi. Aiko kata even one address. So we will get to know. Kanochuka kama mungeenda pole tungekuwa na hii government ya kama ami
nimeshangaa uliama azimio na last year tulikuwa nawe hapa, tulikuwa moto. Uliama azimio.
Bana mimi sijapatiwa azimio, hiyo azimio before the handshake ilikuwa hiyo.
Baki tu UDA, where at least I know bado naweza kukuuma. Baki tu UDA. Najua watu wa UDA. Mzalendo nataka kuhama, wewe pia unataka kuhama.
No. Ochuka, mimi siwezi kuhama UDA. UDA imefanya ile kitu bottom up economics ambayo ilifanya ile 70s ambayo ni mzuri sana, ambayo ilitengeneza Europe, ilitengeneza Asia after second world war. Ochuka, wacha nikwambie, kama mungeenda pole ingekuwa ni government ya Kenya Army ingechukua, alafu Moi angekuwa out. Hatungekuwa na hii taabu tunazungumza juu yake saa hii. Nyinyi mlikimbia huko Ochuka, mkaenda na Air Force, mkapigwa. So where we are right now, Jakes, let us continue to debate as to where the best is coming from. The propaganda is on both sides. Lakini the court system in Kenya is doing a wonderful job. Umeona hiyo Nakuru, when this guy Maina Jega's people were kicked out, and the court said no, let them come in. Hiyo ndio tuna support. Gawaje tuko UDA, the right is right and the wrong is wrong. Hiyo tu endelea wewe.
And one thing, umesema vizuri Maina, nimependa venye umeleta hiyo story. I wondered, walikuwa nasema yeye ni Mungiki leader. Yeye ni mwanaume, nashukuru sana. Lakini nakumbuka hakuenda Hague yet. Wale kuna watu walishikwa walienda Hague wakisema alitumia Mungiki. Right now Maina Jenga anajaribu kuclean jina yake ndiye avae aongoze watu wa Mount Kenya. Anatafutwa kwa nyumba usiku, anasumbuliwa sijui na mambo na kesi ambaye hata ziko ukiangalia. So mimi nashangaa na hii serikali. kuna vitu ambayo wanafanya ambayo zinawaibisha. Huwezi zuia watu kukosa kuja kotini, wako na haki. Huwezi zuia mama yako, baba yako, they need to be there. So mimi nashangaa polisi mtu mmoja anaekewa polisi wengi, unashangaa ni ya nini?
Ochuka, unakumbuka hata nani alikuwa amepelekewa polisi? Simba Arati alikuwa anaenda kwa ofisi, then he found a pool of police out of his office. So you see, there is a lot of impunity. And that starts with Kenya Kwanza. Because the problem with Kenya Kwanza, they are feeling they are getting defeated. So they want to prove a point. Here is the issue with Kenya Kwanza. Right now, I think now people, they've learned to wamejua, especially Mount Kenya, and his own people at Rift Valley, they've seen that this guy, he's not even for the interest of his own people. He's just selfish, na yeye ni tumbocrat. Unaelewa? Now, sasa watu wameona, him, I think he's understanding the ground. It is not as welcoming the way he wants. Because kama angekuwa mwerevu, na hizi homecoming anaendaga ya za watu wengine, unajiulizaga kwa nini hajaienda Eldoret kwao nyumbani?
Ni kweli.
Because people know
hata Bomet watu walimwabisha mbele yake. Huyo minister wake aliaibishwa mbele yake. Yeye akaamka akatetea minister wake. So it means anajua kitu.
Last month he went to Mombasa. They were going from some certain things to commission. Guys were like, apana, mafuta, as in, it was so aibu. And the person when alichukua your picture, it was just as someone took with the phone. Where would the main media houses would show that? You see, there's a lot in the ground because people are really feeling the heat. Now, akina, you see Gachagua, wakati the prince alikuja, this guy was thrown out of the country. Remember, ati alafu anaambiwa enda Germany in quotes. So that ionekane deputy wake ameenda wapi? Officially. Remember, alikuwa amefukuzwa. Now Gachagua comes now, starts speaking on both sides of the mouth, saying they cannot be blamed. So he means himself and his people cannot be blamed, but the person who's supposed to be blamed is who? It is Ruto, because he's the one.
Na zile vitu kila mahali walipeleka King Charles, Uhuru alijenga wakiwa juu ya magari.
Imagine. So
na hata hao hawakujenga hizo vitu. Lakini wanachukua credit.
Wanachukua credit. Sasa akina these MPs wameona sasa things are going to be bad for them in 2025, because right now they want to eat as much as they can, watu wache kama hatuna kitu, because wakienda kukampeni hapo watarushiwa mayai ama watarushiwa matope, because number one, they passed the finance bill without thinking about mwananchi. Number two, these are the same people wali make sure that Ruto has destroyed us, ameingia kwa payslips zetu. They have never intervened hata kuangalia venye mwananchi venye anaishi. Angalia sahi, watoto university, they cannot fund, the help thing was killed. Right now, watoto wameanza kufanya umalaya, wash na nini, just to survive tu, mtu ajaribu kujitengenezea. None of these MPs are there to support this thing. They only talk nonsense. Haya, angalia bipartisan talk. I want to ask Mzalendo, what is the problem with you, UDA? You don't want to understand the thing called cost of living. And that is the part of the bipartisan talk. Now the problem is, imefika sisi watu wa Azimio, we are advising you. Why? Why? Kwa nini bipartisan talks mkiambiwa cost of living, you are diverting the whatever?
I want to answer you.
Mzalendo. Well,
can you answer that?
Please. My friend, Stella, ni kitu ambao we ran for. We ran elections to run this economy the way we want. Kama nyinyi mnaendelea ya cost of living, apply that in 4 years from now. Like right now, when we won the elections, we are doing exactly what we said we will do in UDA. na sio nyinyi mnakuja kuwa supervisor yetu na sisi tulioshinda. How can you be our supervisor?
You guys are
We
destroying the
defeat you.
country. You guys are destroying the country.
No. You wrote the constitution. You wrote the constitution. You wrote the constitution so that you can change the system in every 4 years. If we don't do what we said we'll do when we ran the elections in 2022, then you kick us out in 2027. Very clear, simple.
I've asked
Na hiyo sio kitu
Mzalendo,
ngumu sana.
Nyagaka, I've asked this question to Mzalendo. Why is it so hard for Kenya Kwanza to listen the talks of what has been placed about cost of living? Let me tell you, it is possible
You
to
are the one. You and Azimio yenu ndio mnaendesha hiyo biashara ya cost of living and all that. Fanya hiyo, I mean, and you run the direction in 2027. Don't give us that to do it.
No.
We cannot do your job.
No.
No. We can.
Listen,
We can.
Nyagaka, webu ngoja kwanza. You cannot say that Azimio walituma cost of living ipande. How do you blame us? How do you blame us?
No. Stella, what did you You are the ones who are coming up with the cost of living ideas about mnayo.
Yes.
Alafu mnataka UDA ifanyie kazi. Ndio tunawaambia since we have our new own theories on how to bring down the cost of living. My friend, that's it.
Explain to me
in
layman's language. Explain to me in layman's language, how are you going to bring down the cost of living? I just need to
Number
know.
one, layman language. Number one. Why did you kuambia unauliza swali na unajibu? Unauliza swali na unajibu. Mimi nataka nikujibu. Cost of living will go down, especially when Ruto said that the price of gas, petrol will go down. Which means when you buy matatu from Nairobi to Kisii itakuwa kidogo. Which means the cost of buying unga itakuwa kidogo kwa sababu they will not be spending that much money on petrol. That's a very simple way to bring the cost of living down.
So who is responsible to bring the cost of living down?
UDA, the gentlemen that are running the system right now. But it is not your responsibility to tell us what to do.
Okay, let me put it for you. You cannot say that the cost of living, we are being adamant. The issue here you have to understand, cost of living can go down. The only factor of the cost of living is the cost of energy and fuel. If Ruto takes that fuel down, and he also deduct the 6% and aliongeza on exercise duty, na atoe 8% of VAT. Everything from food to transport to any infrastructure will go down. We are able to afford. But the problem is they are being adamant. The other day they were told, you cannot increase the price again for fuel because you people, you're not giving the proper structure why the fuel has to go for 300. They said that the matter of this inakuja kwa sababu ya Hamas and Israel war. That's why the story of Anjeri ilikuja kudivert your attention. Mafuta ijaongezwa for the last 1 month. Walitoa only like 30 cents kwa diesel na walitoa 30 cents kwa petrol. But mafuta ya taa bado ni more expensive. So you see, bado tunafinyiliwa. So the cost of fuel, the only factor in it is only Ruto to reduce the cost of energy and fuel so that I can afford for my transport and I can afford for my tokens. Period, point blank. Stima ikienda chini, production inapanda juu. But ukiweka nini stima iende juu, production inaenda chini. So that's why unga ni expensive na chakula ni expensive. Mafuta ikienda juu, that means definitely everything imeenda juu. And that is also affecting even our livelihoods. Even right now, ukiangalia, all the government have done, it is increase their taxes, yet we are not getting any service deliverable from them. Wao wanaongeza tu tax and there is nothing of change. So, Azimio people are asking for just one thing from Kenya Kwanza to do.
they have to reconsider the cost of living. The only element they should touch is energy. So once you touch energy, it goes to everything down. So you can't
My
say
friend,
that
you
ati sisi ndio watu wa Azimio wanasema kuna ugumu. Watu wa Kenya Kwanza ni wanakataa kutusikia. Kwanza kuanzia na huo mtu anaitwa Kimani Ichung'wah.
Stella, what did you what you just said, you can repeat that nearly a million times. Because those are all as mere ideas. We don't need them, we don't use them, we will not use them.
You need them.
No, we don't. We don't. That
you need it.
Who's going to copy your ideas?
No, why are your ideas so ridiculous that even you people, you're becoming
to you they are.
To the pain of Mwananchi. That's why we have to use Azimio.
No. Our ideas are our ideas.
All right. The question. Where is Stella? She's taken off.
No. I'm here.
Stella, I wanted to answer you because you've been hot here. Yeah. The issues which were brought. Remember, initially in the bipartisan talks, you didn't even have the issue of cost of living. It was because it was just let me just finish. Then you'll come back. I gave you all the time. You didn't have the cost of living as an issue. It was just pressure from the people that brought the cost of living on the table. What are they discussing on the cost of living that the government is refusing to do? This is why the government cannot lower the VAT from 16% to 8%. The loans on IMF, the loans on IMF are tied on conditions that the loans that you have consumed are already tied on a deal by the IMF that they will tax, they'll push, the government will push for 16% VAT. And that was done by the government. So that cannot be reverted to 8%. You are again demanding that prisons be reduced from the current 52,000 or something to maybe 30 or something, those figures. The government said that, okay, this is also a gradual process, but in the bipartisan talks, there are other things that Kenya Kwanza has considered. For example, what they considered? They have considered on the road levy. The road levy was at 18 Kenyan shillings. It has been now reduced by 5 shillings to 13 shillings. So those are some of the gains that the talks have produced. Now, they are talking about reducing the government trips and all that. That's a good thing for everybody else. These trips are too much and the government should reduce them. That is a good thing. So if they are able to achieve the minimal in those bipartisan talks, they should go a step further to reduce the salaries of MPs and the sitting allowance that they enjoy and the house allowances that they enjoy from the taxpayers' money. That will reduce the cost of living drastically. But do they want to touch that? They don't want to touch such a thing. So those are the small gains that the bipartisan talks have achieved. But the things that you want and demand have already been signed into law, and the government cannot go back to IMF and tell them that Stella, an Azimio supporter in Kenya, is refusing to pay those taxes. So we already have the money. You don't have money to take back to IMF. So that one, forget about it. Just forget about it. But the bottom line of this bipartisan talks that eventually will come out is that some of it is not anchored in law, and somebody will go in court and demand that those talks are bogus. Another thing, the issues that they are discussing at Bomas, they are issues that could be discussed in Parliament. Kibaki reduced the cost of living in parliament through legislation, and we had essential commodities reduced drastically from an economy that was collapsing, and essential commodities like sugar, maize flour, rice were reduced at a level manageable to the consumers. So these are issues that can be discussed in parliament. It is not that we have a bogus government. We have a bogus representation both in the Senate and in parliament. So when you talk about legislation, first of all, look at the person you elected as the MP, because he's the one who is supposed to bring these laws into parliament so that the cost of living can go down. How many of your legislators have brought the, for example, the issue of school fees in parliament so that it can be scrapped altogether? Nobody has brought that. How many have brought brought into parliament that the cost of school uniforms being subjected to parliament is too high and it's not necessary at all? Nobody has brought that. So talk about your legislators, talk about what they are doing in parliament, instead of blaming a government which are supposed to be guided by the local MPs. So hii kelele unapiga, Ruto is hopeless if he does not get an effective parliament. So the parliament has to be effective. So, yeah.
You're saying that the part of the bipartisan talks, you're saying that the cost of living was not an issue. It was the first issue, which was on that.
It wasn't an issue, and it was. I remember Ichungu was saying that yes, we have begun the talks, but the cost of living is not on the table.
But that is what Azimio had to put it, and that has to be discussed. It was a point of discussion before they come to IBC and other things.
Yeah, that is what collapsed the talks initially.
Let me tell you. Yes, it collapsed the talk kwa sababu nani anaitangwaje Kalonzo was also bought by UKK people, by UK Nyakwisha. But let me tell you, guys,
Kalonzo was bought how, and Kalonzo came back much later.
Look here. The bipartisan talks was meant to be for the Mwananchi. But the story changed the time when they started signing that agreement between the two of them. Then it was so ashaming. These MPs, when walikuwa elected kwenda kusikia hii maneno ya bipartisan, they were only there for their own interest. But a few of the guys at the civil society, they said the first thing they had to discuss is the cost of living. And Mzalendo, this is what I'm trying to tell you. It is possible to have this thing to be lowered down. And I've said the first thing and the first element is energy and fuel. If come a global oil prices per barrel is less than $80, what are you trying to tell me, Mzalendo? Mafuta in Uganda and mafuta in Tanzania, it's cheaper than us with 90 shillings. Na inapita huku. Yeah? Na inapita huku.
Jakes. No. Tafadhali wacha kuzubaa hapo na
I'm trying to put sense here to Mzalendo. Don't say that nini cannot go down. The only thing, even we're not asking Ruto to sikose tutalipa ushuru ndio. But remember, you have to first thing which you really not to you should not even touch even further and more. It is mafuta. Mafuta is the factor of kila kitu, from steamer, from chakula, from magari, from everything.
Nimekuambia hii sheria, hii loan ya IMF was tied to the VAT 16% ya mafuta. Hivyo ndio mungeilipa. Hizi loan munapata, hivyo ndio mungelipa. So whatever you are saying is correct. No, but whatever you are saying cannot be reverted.
Apana, let me tell you, and this is what I want to tell you. IMF, the only thing they said, as we don't want to know, you do whatever you have to do, but get me my money. Get me my money. They never interfered on any legislation which was done in parliament.
Stella, wacha kudanganya watu. Ukienda kuomba bank, lazima uonyeshe vile utalipa. Lazima uonyeshe vile utalipa.
Let me talk. Did IMF or World Bank walikaa ndani ya hiyo parliament kwa committee ya Kimani Kuria? Yes or no? Yes or no? I'm asking you.
Okay,
no. Mzalendo. Me I'm speaking as
Mzalendo, what
IMF and World Bank were there in that committee of Kimani Kuria of increasing anything and
all committees listen listen very carefully. Before the government takes money from IMF, it is discussed in committees. Okay, it is discussed in committees.
Let me put it
Mzalendo,
kuna committee ya finance ina discuss hizi vitu zote.
Mzalendo,
wacha nimwambie hivi, huyu Stella, wacha nikwambie hivi. No, let me tell you one word. Uendelee. One word. The IMF and the World Bank zilikuwa zinakataza Moi hata shilingi moja. Watu wanakufa kwa hospitali zote. And IMF, when they are there, they are the ones who help Southeastern Asian countries to grow where they are. Because all the policies that they have are only perpetuating what you want. Oh, Jesus. They are perpetuating what you want. Kama wewe ni mshezi, utakuwa mshezi. IMF will not educate you. So that all these people, the ex-central bank governor was working for IMF. Huyu nani amesoma shule Cornell University, Kimani Tuge. These are all smart people who can work for IMF anytime they want. It's not the IMF that dictates to us.
No, you're telling me that you should get some technocrats to run down the country. You see, as Kenyans, we are not that stupid.
ODM, you think we are running down the country? We are running the country up.
No. I'm here as a Kenyan. I'm not here on which party or whatever. And this is what I'm saying. And
you just confirmed it. Stella, you just confirmed a while ago that we were new in Yasimio. And now how are you going to change again?
No, I've said that. But right now on this discussion, what I'm trying to say, Mzalendo cannot say that IMF and World Bank were there in the committee of Kimani Kuria discussing about this issue of increasing taxes. They were not there. Then they told them, you do this, you give me my money, and I kick rocks.
Stella,
now the thing is,
Stella, anywhere where the IMF, anywhere where IMF or World Bank is making money, period. So that if you guys
I've told you that is your logic. Mimi ninakuja on legislative.
No. Logic is very simple. No. How could they be involved in something they are failing?
Nyagaka, skiza hapa. When laws are being made, inafanyiwa wapi?
For us in the parliament.
When laws are being made, where are they being done? They're being done
in Kenya. In Kenya we are doing parliament.
So now I think we are not on the same page.
No, I agree with you.
But now, why are you saying IMF and World Bank, they're the ones who are meant to determine about the issue of bipartisan? Then they are not in that part.
No, if you want to ask for help from them, they have to say how they can. They have to see how they can make their money back. IMF and World Bank are not there just to lose money.
That is not our business. The business
but
I'm
you
talking
went there.
about. You see, you have to separate legislative and policy issues. Policy issues, that was the government behind the hotel's door, whatever they pangani with IMF, I don't care. Mimi shida yangu ni tukuja hapa bipartisan and talks tuambie Ruto reduce the cost of living, which is doable. But you people mnakuja na kizungu. Usilete siafu kwa hii story. Mimi nataka tu kujua tu kama ata reduce mafuta, we go back normal then at least we have our own lives to run. As we speak
Stella.
right now, Nyagaka, KRA, they are unable to collect enough taxes. Why? Because everybody is holding their money. And even people
You are going to a very different. You are going to a different topic. Let me answer your first question you were raising.
No, you're the
Let
one
me answer your
who
first
diverted
question.
the topic.
No. You are going to another, carry and all this. What did you be? All the ideas about now, lazima UDA ifanyie kazi, alafu the life will be better for Kenya is zero, none and zero. Sisi tuna yes, na nyinyi hiyo ni yenu. How can you force us? We put you in elections 2022. How can you force us with all your ideas if we do ifanyie kazi? That don't make even
So why
sense.
did you ask for the bipartisan talks? Who came with that
We didn't ask for that.
It is not us. You are the
We
one
did-
who said you come to the table, come with clean hands. We discuss this thing. Then what happened when we appear? You hide the cards under the table. Then muna change story up at you say that is not part of Nini. That Nini cost of living was not part of the agenda. It was number one on that agenda, and it has never been crossed off. It has never been crossed off. So you don't come and tell me here that, oh, IMF, World Bank, that's not our business. That's their policy business. Mimi, I'm here for legislative issues.
Stella.
Mimi nataka kujua kama Ruto ata reduce mafuta to
Stella,
go back the way
what did
we were.
you say? Let me answer your question. Let me answer your point you just made. With us in the order, we were only worried about forming IEBC. Jimkati wametoka, wala wengine wote wametoka. If we are, no, let me finish. I let you finish. Let me finish what I was saying. I let you finish what you were saying. So that we didn't ask you to come to the election so that we can follow your economic ideas. That's wrong. That's bogus, as it can be.
Are you trying to
We
tell
only
me
wanted you there.
that I don't make any
We
sense
wanted you there.
making my own shilling to become an economic idea? I pay my taxes. That's my relevance to make this country to run. But the thing is, I feel that I'm getting deprived and I'm getting disrespected. So you have to respect me if my taxes are being deducted. Because that's why when you land here in JKIA, you will enjoy the roads. You land here in JKIA,
No,
you will
my friend, Stella,
internet because my taxes are paid. So don't say that
Stella.
my economic does not make any sense in this conversation. It is making sense because
Stella,
I am the
Stella.
one who's feeling that pain and I'm the one
Yeah,
who's feeling
it
that
makes sense. It makes sense in as far as Asmio is concerned. Go run that economic theory yenu kuifanyia Asmio. Sio UDA.
So you want to
As
tell
in
me,
UDA.
you want to tell me that it is very right for UDA watufinyilie day by day. Just the other day, hata ni jana tu, wametuongezea NHIF. Tunakatwa 2.7 from our gross pay. What is that? That is abuse of human rights. Kwa sababu for one, huwezi sina mnatukata NHIF, then you change again, munaanza mnatukata NHIF tena, muna change nini? Organization munaita Social Insurance Health Fund.
Sarah, can I ask you a question?
No, the thing is, the laws of this, they are being flouted. We cannot have a government every day ukiamuka kesho ushuru. Hiyo ingine unatan taxes huku. Ukiingia kwa matatu taxes pale. Hivyo. We need one
Let
tax.
me ask you a question. Stella,
I
whether
don't
you kuuliza
understand why
swali
the
moja.
Uda government is in a hurry to collect this money and yet hakuna kitu wamejenga. Hakuna.
Stella, wacha nikuulize. Wacha nikuulize swali moja.
Usijaribu
Wacha nikuulize swali moja.
Uda.
No, I'm asking you a question. I'm not confusing you. I'm just asking you a question. How come you didn't raise the point where all the guards in Kenya will raise their money from minimum 15,000 to minimum 30,000? How come you never raised that one?
Which one?
The security guards. Our Natulinda. The security. No. All of them. Thorough. No. Let me finish.
Listen to me.
It's a question. It's a question I'm asking you.
These are between a guard from G4S, a guard from Securex, when wakienda kwa presidential ama waende kwa government institution, they have rightful that amount to be paid. Remember, all that money is being taxed plus housing fund. So hebu niambie na ule guard mwenye anakuja kusimama kwa compound yangu na niko kwa ploti na analipo 7,000. It does not make any sense. It does not make any sense. So hiyo tu ni kuonesha tu it was just decorating the paper, but anything which is in the ground, those people bado wananyanyaswa. You are muted. We can't hear you.
Okay, now let's have Nyagaka. Sorry, I am enjoying you guys. Go back and talk.
Yes, the 15,000 to 30,000. Everybody, Stella. Every guard, the highly paid guards wale wako na professionals nini na madigrii wanapewa pesa mingi, lakini the minimum, Stella, the minimum from yesterday, the minimum all the guards will get is 30,000.
Nyagaka, kuja Kenya, ulize guard, mbona anaishi bado anakaa Msango ama anakaa Kibera na kama anapata hiyo 30,000.
The money was raised from yesterday.
But let me ask you, akipewa hiyo pesa, remember kuna payers you want in a meza.
Exactly.
NSSF, housing fund, NITA. I can personal relief, kila kitu. This guy anaenda nyumbani na pesa ngapi? Anaenda na 17,000, hajalipa nyumba. Watoto hajaenda shule, hajanunua token.
Stella, hapo umesema ukweli. Ngoja nikwambie, hapo you are saying the truth. Lakini let us face the truth for what it is. At least that is money that is making more than he was making. Lakini vile umesema hiyo pesa inaongezwa
kwa gazeti. Nakwambia hiyo ni maua tu. Hiyo ni tu mtu ameprint tu, lakini end of the day anafunga nayo nyama.
I am trying to agree with you.
Don't believe what you see in the newspaper. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Anything you see in the media does not mean that it has to pass through. Yes, iko hapo, but how many farms are they going to afford kulipa hiyo? Kuko na mtu analipaga maid 30,000. Mimi I cannot even afford to pay my maid 30,000. I pay her 12,000. Na kuna mwingine analipa 4,000. And no one will come and oversight me kuniambia kwa nini silipi maid and yet mshahara yangu ni kidogo aniambia nimlipe 21,000. It doesn't make any sense. Ndio nakwambia wacheni kusoma gazeti. Fungeni nazo nyama. It doesn't make any sense end of the day. Nyagaka, please.
Okay. Now let's come back to the show. That was a whole minute.
Huyu mama ni mukali.
Sio mukali, but that's the law. Sasa wewe unaanza kusema sijui mara ati cost of living. Na hiyo ndio ilikuwa number 1 to in the cross. It has never been crossed. I can download for you that document one.
We will never, forever in Kenya, whoever loses the election dictates to the person who wins the election what to do. Hiyo Mama Sarah say, I will never agree with that. Hata hiyo economy position yenu, enda nayo, mufanye kazi nayo. Wale walishinda watakuja na economic theory yao. Alafu hiyo yenu mkishinda 2027 muifanyie kazi. We don't need it. Why do you want to force us to do the economic theory yenu? Why? Stella. Yes. Hiyo show yako ni show yako ni mzuri sana na tufanye tunakuwa na very high emotions. Unaona vile wengine walikiwa wanakuwa nakimbia chana. No, we get animated because the ideas, wanasema tukuje na ile idea tunayo, tuzungumuze. We'll tell you our ideas. You know, like Jake, everything that Asimiu is doing in as far as makisikizano is useless to us. Other than forming the next IBC, is very important. We want everybody to participate in that one. But the economic planning, ni yenu, fanyia kazi. What do you want us to follow your ideas? Every year when somebody loses, the other person who loses comes with the ideas that the winner uses. What kind of democracy is that? Nyinyi ndio mnasema Raila Odinga alileta democracy Kenya. How does he even understand that? That's simply illogical. You cannot lose and then dictate the economic theories ya kwa wale ambao wamewashinda. So that you want 2022, 2027, 2030, hiyo tu. Nimeacha kabisa. Thank you very much, Jex. Very glad to see you all the time.
Asante sana. Thank you and happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Okay. Wow, it only happens right here at Afric TV. We had a great time, as I promised you. It only gets hotter here. So we do this again tomorrow evening with another great topic, with another great show, with your host none other than Jex, the moderator. Tunafanya vitu kali, vitu fiti, but for us to even continue doing even more, kindly subscribe to Afric 24. We are almost announcing our lucky winners very soon, probably from, I'll get the correct date for you. So kindly rush there, subscribe to Afric 24. You stand a chance to win great prizes. Thank you to the many who tuned in. Thank you to the many who subscribed. Thank you to the many who liked. What loss wame subscribe. Continue subscribing. Kimbia hapo Afric 24. Sorry, we had a mix up of the channel, but now go to that channel and it's appearing to your screen right now. Afric 24. Subscribe hapo mbio mbio. Join the many who are doing us proud. Asante pia kwa wale ambao wamelike hii video. Let me read them for you. I see Willis bro amefanya ile kitu, asante sana. Mechanic KE, I see you, thank you for liking our video. Queen Macha babe, I see you, thank you for liking our video. James Onyango, asante sana. Mary Mosioka, I see you, asante sana. Sylvester Koyo, I see you and I'm grateful. Steven Wesonga, asante sana. Na Vesto Limo, asante kwa kulike hii video. Willis bro, I see you, asante sana. Thank you very much. Pamela Chieng, asante sana kwa kulike hii video. Asante pia kwa wale ambao wamecomment kwa comment section. Good year, it's always a pleasure to have you. I see brother Benson was in the house. Asante sana. Janet Kahinga, I see you, asante sana. Sally Fields, I see you, asante kwa kuwa part of the show, and many of you who were commenting, akina Cornelo Chuka, who were on the panelist, akina Stella, akina Penya Gaka, Mzalendo, and many who joined in, Mr. Kamau, Alex Media, and many who joined in, asanteni tu sana. You guys made this show possible, and I am so very grateful. Subscribe to Afric and make this your number one evening show entertainer, your number one morning shows entertainer, among many other videos that you'll be finding hapo kwa Afric TV. Kindly subscribe to Afric 24. Make this your number one channel. Asanteni sana wadau. You guys are just but amazing. We wrap up the show, but remember, this show is for you, Mwananchi. As I've always told you, this is not an extension of the government. Neither is it a mouthpiece of the opposition. Here, we just allow you speak as you wish to. Here, we allow you have fun. We allow you to speak as a Kenyan because you are a Kenyan. Above all, we listen to you because you guys listen to us. Thank you for choosing Afric TV. Thank you for making Afric your number one choice of social media entertainment. This is how we began, ladies and gentlemen, lest you forget.
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa, lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Si tunamshukuru Mungu jameni?
But there's one man that always makes my evening, none other than this man. This man kind of predicted all this.
You know what has happened with this election, and I said it in another meeting, that after the COVID-19 pandemic...
Oh my, sorry, I'm hanging. So the show wants me to wrap up.
You know what has happened with this election, and I said it in another meeting, that after the COVID-19 pandemic, now the new pandemic we are dealing with is the pandemic of lies. Yeah. It's the pandemic of lies. You know, people stand up and they say things that they think make sense. You know, I've been looking at politicians. Unfortunately, I have the opportunity of having served in cabinet. I know how a budget is drawn, and I know how much money we have in our resources to draw a budget. When a political leader, a national leader tells people, I will put aside 150 billion for market women, I'll put aside 50 billion for boda boda, I'll put aside 100 billion for this. I know how much our budget is and the projected growth of our budget. That time we have not talked about the amount of money that you are taking to counties. You have not talked about transfers for the education sector and so on. Where are you going to get that money to provide that kind of service? You're just lying to those people because you are telling them things they want to hear. And because they won't ask you questions, you just get along with it.
Millions of dollars.
You know, when you keep saying
following
there's
heavy
deep
rains
state,
and flooding in Kenya's coastal region. According to the government, over 80,000 households have been affected. Many have lost virtually everything they had, including their livelihoods, and are struggling to cope.
My goats, my cows, donkeys and chickens have all been washed away by the heavy rains. I have no food, let alone clothes to wear.
4 of the houses here have been washed away, and those still standing are not accessible because they have been submerged.
The Kenyan Red Cross has been working to alleviate problems. It deployed boats to evacuate residents whose houses have been submerged by flood waters. But more help is needed.
We have over 11,000 people affected in Tana River. This number is increasing day by day. That was meant, the 11,000 people are mostly people from Tana North. Now the number is increasing in Tana Delta.
Kenya's coastal authorities laid bare the true extent of the damage and what they can expect with the recovery effort.
It is not an issue of a building, it is an issue of a whole township. We have received zero funding in regards to El Nino.
Relief agencies say they are struggling to access many affected areas as much of the local infrastructure has been destroyed. Meanwhile, officials are also fearful of disease outbreaks with the flood waters damaging sanitation facilities. According to the Kenyan Meteorological Department, the ongoing rains are expected to remain a threat until January. Daniel